Hello, everyone. I'm Benjamin, and I'm here today with my very close friend, Jamie.
Hello.
Hello. We are here today, not only airing our first ever podcast, we're also here to put the world to rights, express our thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and whatever is on our minds. Today, we're here to talk about relationships, something I think is very important to experience in life, whether it's your, first girlfriend, first time you meet someone, and so on.
Slash boyfriend.
It could be anyone. Could be anyone. So I'm going to start off nice and simple for you.
Wait, Ben. Before we start, let me just inform the listeners that we have not seen each other's questions. Although
right.
I kind of wanted to.
I've not seen any of yours.
No.
I've given you like this sort of snippet of what I'm going to say.
To be fair, Ben, I wrote most of mine about 10 minutes ago. So
you're very well prepared. Very well prepared. So I'm going to start off nice and easy one for you, Jamie.
Okay.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
So this is one of the ones that you mentioned the other day.
Yeah.
It's like a little tester. So I've had a good time to think about this.
Okay.
And as much as I would like to believe in love at first sight, because you watch Disney movies, and when you were younger, everything's magical, and oh my god, love at first sight, and then everything works out really well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to say a solid no.
Do you know what? I do kind of actually agree with you on.
Whoa, hold the phone, Ben.
I do actually agree with that. I do think that there's been many moments in my sort of childhood growing up. I used to be terrible. Like, if I saw someone, I'd fancy them straight away. I'd be like, oh, I like you. Do you like me? And they'd kind of look at me and go, no, not really. You're a bit weird then. So,
and things haven't changed.
It's not changed much even now, to be fair. But I never really thought I'm going to marry this person. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with them. It's always been a case of I've met someone and gone, they're just either drop dead gorgeous. There's something I like about them. But I would never call it love per se. I feel like love is a very strong description, because love is normally something that I believe is built rather over a period of time. What do you think?
Well, actually, my first question is going to be, what do you think love is, Ben? So this kind of ties into that, because what I wanted to know, obviously, from your perspective is, I feel like love, there's no defining characteristics for love. It's an individual thing. I think if you look up the definition of love, which I definitely haven't done, so I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it's a per person basis, especially nowadays. Nowadays, as like everyone's free to express whatever the hell they want, you can... Love means so many different things, and there's obviously lots of different types of love, whether it's love for your family or your friends, to your partner, this sort of thing, and multiple partners. Like, where does it stop? Where does it begin?
It's I don't think you can put pen to paper and just simply write down a simple paragraph of what love is, because I think it's a lot more complicated to express. That's why a lot of people have difficulty expressing their feelings to their partner. That's why a lot of people argue, because they're like, oh, you don't show enough love, when they just don't know quite sometimes how to express it.
Or even, I think a lot of people, excuse me, although I even think that a lot of people express love in different ways. So, for example, you could be a very touchy person. That sounds really, really wrong.
Rephrase that.
Let's say, for example, your partner, whenever you saw your partner, you gave them a little cuddle, or like, you brushed against them just to let them know that you're there and that you love them and stuff like this. A lot of people do that. But then if your partner doesn't express love in that same way, she could just be like, why the hell does he stroke me every time he goes past?
You can feel a bit disconnected if they don't reciprocate in the same way.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. And I think, although that's not a deal breaker, I think a lot of people can get past that, because when they learn that people express love in different ways, it can work out really, really well. But you could express love purely sexually. And I think there's a few people do that.
Yeah.
So that's then difficult. What if you're, the person that you love has a very, very low libido, their sex drive is really low, and yet you express love through sex.
You also get people who are introverts, and introverts are not known for being sort of expressive always with their love, because I'm not saying I speak on their behalf. I may have been when I was a lot younger, but the difficulty in just giving them a hug, just going up to them behind them when they're not expecting it.
Get up!
Even saying I love you for the very first time as an introvert, I can imagine is very difficult. I think, but going back to what you were saying in the beginning, I think love is something that has to be built rather than what is love, because you learn to love and hate things about your partner. So like there'll always be good things and bad things that you love, but I think you learn to love things about them as well. So you begin by loving who they are as a person, and then everything that slowly comes with them, such as family, friends,
traits, just even traits.
Yeah,
like
traits as well.
Personality traits and things like that.
Yeah. So like as I mentioned earlier about love at first sight, I was looking online and through a few therapists that I found. They said that love at first sight is an overwhelming sensation. It feels like love, but isn't. It is caused by a chemical reaction. It's a release of good endorphins between two people, which is an indication of a strong physical reaction.
Which I think being an adult and having that, a lot of it, and I know that this is kind of not off topic, but a lot of it could be expressed through lust as well. Like, let's say, for example, love at first sight generally means that you've never talked to them. You don't know what they're like. They could be horrible people, and yet you've seen them and gone, wow, they're attractive. And your body's just going, oh, I'd love to be with them. Even if you're just like, you want to physically be with them just as to cuddle and things like that. I think that's still a form of, like you said, love is something you build up over time. And I definitely agree with that. First sight, for example, if we were walking down the street, Ben, and I saw you and I went, oh my God, he's the most beautiful man I've ever seen. And I regularly think this of you, Ben. So I just think, I feel as if, because I've had this as well. I agree. I've seen someone and gone, wow, oh my God, look at them. By the way they express themselves and the way that they look and the way that they dress and et cetera, the list goes on forever, basically, because you pick up a lot more from tones or even smells and things like this that you don't really necessarily think about.
Yeah.
And I reckon that can be a connection to, one, yourself. You could be feeling lonely, you could, if your partner that you're currently with, for example, is really, really snuggly and you get all the attention that you're ever going to need and you don't have any issues from when you were younger, let's say, like one of your parents left and things like that, and you've got no abandonment issues and all this stuff. Well, let's not get to abandonment issues. I'm just saying that could be a major thing. Then you meet someone that you think, oh my God, I just want to be with this person. That could be like an underlying thing from when you're a kid and growing up because you're not being fulfilled.
Yeah. That can be a quite complicated subject about abandonment and family issues, abuse, so on and so forth, which can affect your ability to open up to your partner as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole there, but if you've had a traumatic past, it can be difficult to open up to your partner because a lot of the time as well, when you get into a relationship, you try to be quite open about your past, your present. And again, it's something I'm going to come into later, actually, about secrets. Because they can affect...
While we're on this subject, though, Ben, my father left when I was really, really young. So I did have abandonment issues for a very, very long time. And who knows, maybe I still do to an extent. But for a really long time, up until like my early 20s, I had major abandonment issues that I didn't know I had until I got therapy for them.
Yeah.
I had a one-off chance, okay, fine, I'll try therapy. And then after I finished that, I found myself so fundamentally confused as to who I was because my whole relationship had kind of just become part of this. I'm so scared of them leaving. I will do anything for them, to keep them as, my partner.
So would you say that you became overly attached or quite the opposite?
No, definitely overly attached. I was very much, I will do anything. And that's my form of love. My form of love is I will sacrifice myself to make this work, even though every single signal, all the red flags, everything was popping up saying this will not work.
Yeah.
And it's a really horrible way of doing it. But if, you can get through stuff with therapy and things like that. And once you get past that, although it's a massive screw up in your head because suddenly you're changing if you want to think about like Disney movies, your core memories, your core beliefs, that kind of thing. That's what it felt like for me. And it was a very big change. So I think like that plays a massive, massive part in relationships and things like that. Definitely.
Well, that can have advantages and disadvantages. As you say, you're willing to put your life on the line. If you find someone who understands, you'll be in a very good place because they'll understand why you're a bit overly protective, overly loving, overly caring.
Yeah.
But if you get someone who's maybe not so into that, can push them away. So it's a very risky start. But thankfully, over your teenage years, you will go in and out of love quite often, because not many, I would say a very small percentage of people remain with their high school partners, for example,
True.
or people they go to college with. So it's a good chance to learn about love, rejection, and so on and so forth.
Well, I think it will even go into your 20s. I know a lot of people find their forever partner. Oh, sorry, I was doing quotations with my fingers. Forever partner at that point. But I feel as if, obviously, you go through a lot of changes in your teens, but you go through so many changes in your 20s as well. And I've just realised how old I'm sounding right now. And I'm still in my 20s, but still.
You're acting older than I am.
But I just think, I feel as if when I was a teenager, I looked at someone who's like 20, 25, I was like, wow, they're an adult. They've got their whole life sorted. And then you get to that age and you're like, Jesus Christ, I was so wrong. And I feel as if now I look at someone who's 35 and I'll be like, yeah, they got their life sorted. And I'll get to that point and they won't have it. And I won't have it. So
can I ask you, what would you say is having your life sorted in terms of relationship at 35? Would you say that they're married? This is quotes with my fingers now. Married, engaged, settled down? Would you say they've had kids?
Well, as someone who... obviously I've been married and I have no intention to get married again, because for me it just felt kind of pointless. Yes, okay, it's a way to express yourself in a certain way. And if both of you really want that, then that's definitely a step forward. If you don't want that, there's no need for it nowadays. I feel as if, yes, okay, it was based around like a religious thing originally. And we both live in Norfolk, which is like the least religious place in the UK.
I don't know.
No, it is. Statistically, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, actually, statistically it is.
I suppose you don't really come across religious people all the time in Norfolk, really, do you? Not everyone's.
I just think no one's extreme.
You're more likely to come across a vegan then, I suppose.
Oh, we are very high with veganism. I think we're like second or third in the UK.
Yeah, so I would agree. I suppose I could agree like that. I'm more likely to be talking to someone like that.
Okay, what's your opinion on marriage? I don't actually know this.
Yeah, interestingly, when I was about, I don't know, 15, 16, I actually had my life mapped out. So I said to myself, because my parents got married and they had already had a child before they got married. So breaking the whole religious rule there. And they were actually pregnant, or my mum, I shouldn't say they. My mum was pregnant with me when she got married. And she got married about sort of 27, 28.
Are you not a bastard, Ben?
No, I'm not a bastard, no. But so for me, I think when I was that age, I kind of thought, right, I want to be married by 27. Wow. I wanted to have 2 children. Although, funnily enough, my dad had his palm read by a gypsy lady and they said that I was going to have 6 children, which scared the life out of him. And every girlfriend I've had ever since who I joke with, who don't like the idea, because twins also run in my family, so that would have been hilarious. But I said I was going to have at least 2 children, have my own place, have this, have that. And now saying that I'm above 27, I'm not going to actually give my age away here.
I know how old he is.
But I'm not married. But I don't know. I mean, I like the premise of marriage because a lot of people these days not only get married, but they also have like a promise ring, like an eternity ring.
Oh yeah,
which is like without the marriage, but the
commitment. It's showing.
Yeah, it's saying
together, yeah.
I just want to be with you for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
we don't need anything other than what we have together, and I kind of like that. My mother and her partner have done the same thing because my mum obviously was married, split up with my father quite a few years ago now. She's now moved on, and she's decided to do that. And I think that's absolutely great. And I would not say to anyone who decides not to get married and decided to have children pass on, I think that's absolutely fine.
I agree with that. I feel as if people who get engaged, it's basically the same thing. Yes, okay, they're eventually going to, get married, but people get engaged for like 5+ years nowadays. I know a lot of people who are engaged or have been engaged, and they're engaged for so long because they just wanted to show the same thing, just a commitment to each other to say, yes, we will both be together. And even most of these people were heterosexual, and the man would also wear a ring as well, just to show that, it is a commitment on both ends. And I definitely agree with that. It's exactly the same thing to me. That's all marriage was to me as well, just a way to say, yeah, okay, we want to be together forever and let's have a party.
Yeah.
And it'll be really expensive. Let's go.
Let's get married now, Jamie, together. No. Okay.
So what was the actual question you were going back to?
No.
You said about what do I consider to be like being sorted, right?
So that wasn't actually one of my questions. I think
No,
it's just
but that
something
was
around to,
But I do want to answer that. So for me to be have been a relationship that I consider to be like done and sorted and comfortable, basically just being two people being happy. I guess in life being financially sorted or financially just not bad is definitely a big step, and understanding how you two function and working well together. I feel like that's it. They don't need to be living together or in have a mortgage or be married or anything. Long as they've been together, and when they're both together, things just work out well. And also a big one for me is if, for example, I'm friends with one of them, they act the same or pretty much the same when I'm with them or when I'm with both of them. I feel like that's a very big connection for me, because that way it just if there's a couple that are together and yet when I'm just with one of them they act differently, and then when there's two of them they start tiptoeing a bit more, then it's a bit like, well, you're not being your true self around them. And I feel like that's a really big thing, I think. And I get it. When there's just lads together, for example, you can all be horrible and arsey. And I don't expect that, of course.
the laddish behaviour.
Just everyone's going to act stupid for the next couple of hours, which is great.
Yeah.
But I just think, there's no secrets, no lies, and all this stuff, and everything's just fine.
I do believe that you should be able to be open and honest.
That's basically what I'm trying to say.
And without the sort of worry that you're going to upset one another. So yeah, I do kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to move? I think you're next to ask a question if you'd like
to. This is a good one, Ben.
Okay.
Okay, so this is kind of like a two-part question. So, what's more important to you, love or sex? And if you had to live without one, so you could choose a relationship that was purely sexual, 100%, everything was great, absolutely amazing, or purely love, no sex. Obviously, the sexless relationship had no.
So when you say just love, are you just talking about a hug, kiss, cuddle?
Well, whatever your perception of love is, Ben.
Okay. I think I would rather have the love than not the sex. Because if it was that way around, everyone would be visiting a brothel every 5 minutes if they didn't have a partner. But I like the sort of intimacy without getting too intimate as well. Because nothing feels better than, let's just say, having a tough day at work, coming and sitting on the sofa with your partner, flicking on a TV or a movie and just cuddling.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, everyone wants, something sexual in their life in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, it would be a bummer. I must admit, like everyone enjoys it. But I think I would rather have that intimate side than not have that. If you now just said to me, for the rest of my life, I'm just gonna hook up with people every day.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna have that connection. I'm not gonna build up that those, you have them in secrets with people, them in jokes.
Oh, in jokes, yeah.
Where someone will say something and you two will just make eye contact and start sniggering. Everyone goes, what's so funny? It's like, you won't understand.
You have to be there.
And those sorts of little things are all part of sort of building your love.
I agree with that, yeah.
So I would personally say that, yeah, I definitely would be choosing love over sex. But what about you?
Wait. Hold on there, Ben. I have questions here.
This is like your second build.
I'm going through this.
Okay.
What would you do then? So obviously, being a man especially, we'd all assume that men on average have higher sex drives than women. I mean, that's not necessarily true. And there's lots and lots of jokes about how that might not be true, as in if a man asks for sex, he might not necessarily get it, and that's why he constantly asks. But if a woman asks for sex, she's more likely going to get it. So that's why it doesn't seem like she wants sex as often.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of jokes about stuff like that. But I would say that men in general, because of testosterone and naturally, that's, evolutionally, that's what we've become. We have a higher sex drive on men on average.
Okay.
What would you do? What would you do to satisfy your sex drive, Ben?
I would. I don't want to go into full details of what I would actually physically do in my own personal time. I'd have to be a bit more careful. But I would be happy to look after myself.
Okay. What, forever?
In my own personal... I think I could do that, absolutely.
You think you could do that? So basically, for the sake of love, you would
I would self-love. I would self-love. That's the only way I can really phrase that.
You don't need any more love, Ben. You've got a fully loving relationship.
I would look after myself. That's all. I'd be absolutely fine with that. I don't really know what I'll go into any more detail.
No, that's good. That's good. That's basically what I was getting towards. Would you try and negotiate something with your partner to say, okay, every so often I'm going to find a sexual person, be it, someone who would handle money or someone who wouldn't handle money and go that way.
That would be really weird. I mean,
it would be
weird.
Could
you imagine going up, like finding a friend and going, look, excuse me, mate, I know we don't hang out all the time, but I'm not getting it all at home. Do you mind helping me under the table once a week?
Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine the reaction you would get if you started asking for favours every now and again?
Well, it wasn't exactly getting there. I was thinking more like, friends with benefits of one person and obviously the love from another. But it all depends, because there's a lot of relationships, 21st century and all, where people are in open relationships. And
some people have like two boyfriends and stuff like that. I do.
Yeah, I've seen it. And I mean, being someone who was, brought up in the 90s and the noughties, it scares the hell out of me. It doesn't feel right.
Okay.
But I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous of it. Like, wouldn't that be cool just to open up your horizon? I feel like...
So I'm going to put it to you then. What would you do in that situation? Or more importantly, sex or love? Let's go back a step. Sex or love?
That's really frustrating, because I feel like love would be great, but then never ever having sex would be definitely a big issue, I think. Not that I'm obsessed with anything, and I, as a bloke, I definitely have a low sex drive. But when it does come back, when the full moon does rise, Ben, and I go into
total eclipse,
it's overpowering, obviously, and I feel as if self-handling is, although it is a temporary solution, I feel like it doesn't satisfy the urge. And I know I've read stuff about this. Self-handling, if we're going back to that, can cause depression and stuff like that if things aren't done the right way, when a need is.
But what about if you bought maybe a toy?
True, there are lots of ways around it nowadays. That is true. It might work. And that's the thing as well. Like, if you and your partner who loved you used the toy, I guess that could work. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not a perfect solution. Yeah. But if you were saying, right, okay, there is some sort of hidden rule in the world that if you do both at the same time, you're going to die, and you had to choose one or the other, I would not hesitate to go, okay, I'd rather have the love.
Yeah, I think I would end up going for love, because I feel like going through my entire life, I'm younger now, but as you get older, your sex drive gets lower and lower and lower, and I'd much prefer to be someone who would be like my best friend. We go do all this stuff together, and they, we both love each other, and I feel like that would be amazing. Perfect. So I would have to go for love.
So and now that you've gone for love, and we've got you to give the answer I was looking for, how would you deal with the situation then? What would you do?
Well, I feel like I judge it on the person. I think, let's say, for example, that although we both could have sex, we can have sex with each other, and that's the rules of this thing. Having sex with other people, I feel like that was kind of horrible. But no, I don't think I could do that. Toys. All right, we'll do toys. Toys, I'm sorry. Plastic.
I'm glad to put you under pressure. I'm enjoying watching you squirm in this corner. Right?
The worst thing for me would be someone who I love, having sex with someone else. I feel like that would be a connection.
Level of betrayal.
Yeah, although even if we agreed on it, I don't know, it just feels wrong.
There would be like a silence in the air. You'd feel it even if you couldn't see it. Like you'd be able to feel the sort of the disconnection slowly happening.
Yeah, agreed.
Because sex is a form of not only the intimacy, but it's the connection.
People express lots through sex. I was about to say through love, and people call it love, making love.
You can call it whatever you like.
Well, I'm just saying, a lot of people call it making love because they can express their love through sex, sexual intercourse, or sexual acts.
Okay, since we're on about like intimacy and stuff like that, I'm going to take a step back and ask you. So, do you believe it is wise to keep secrets in a relationship?
Oh, this is hard, Ben, because you're asking me, and I don't. I'm quite an open book, as I think everybody knows.
Same.
Yeah, no, I think you are as well. Yeah. It really does depend. I mean, it depends on. I guess it depends on the secret. It depends on the secret. So let's say, for example, my partner was having a really bad day and they were really annoying me. I'm not just going to blatantly go out there and say, "Why are you being so horrible to me today?" That's a really horrible thing to do. I'm not going to, I'm going to now be annoyed with you for the next week because of this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, right, And is that a secret? Me not telling them?
So it depends on the scale of the secret. So that's just a very little one on the scale of things.
Yeah.
But what about, let's just say, childhood trauma? Taking it a step further back. Let's just say you were saying about abandonment issues with your dad who left you. Just imagine you now get in another relationship anywhere down the line, and eventually it could pop up, the subject. It might be down to they find out through speaking to one of your members of your family. They may never find out. But do you feel like it would be wise to keep it as a secret? Do you feel like it'd be something that would be acceptable to bring up later on?
Well, when it comes to something like that, I feel as if I probably wouldn't naturally bring it up. I have no reason to. It's not something that affects me anymore. I mean, they might ask, judging by the idea that like I still have a mother. And my father is dead, just so people know this. And like the fact that he's not around, they might ask a question every so often. I'm not like I'm gonna purposefully hide it. If they ask about it, I would tell them. If they ask something and I purposefully don't tell them the truth, that's a secret. But just the subject not being brought up, I would not say is a secret. It's just sorry.
So for the sounds of things from that, you're quite you don't have any bad, ill-tempered or feelings towards that subject anymore. No. So it's quite open for you, but obviously it's not like an open wound.
No.
There are instances for other people who, say for example, have received abuse, who might struggle to open up to their partner about it.
Okay, I understand that.
So that could be maybe a bit more extreme, of course.
Okay, so say we're going on that. Let's say, for example, that I was abused when I was younger and it's something I don't particularly want to talk about. Okay, let's say that. So if that was the case, if it affected me in a way that it was causing massive issues with my partner, then it was something that I knew was the cause, then yeah, I feel as if maybe talking with them or even talking with a professional would be the ideal route to go. But so if you're asking, keeping secrets, no, I don't think you should keep secrets. I feel as if, again, it depends. We're talking about extreme things here. Yeah. If I, accidentally did something the other day, which I was a little bit embarrassed about, I'm not going to just be like, guess what happened? Unless it is a fun thing to bring up in a joke. If it affects me to a point where I don't want to talk about it and it means nothing in the long run, then no, then it's fine. Or if you're lying for a reason, like let's say their birthday's coming up and you're doing, a secret party or whatever, then that's okay. So
well,
that's what I think.
I wrote down a few advantages and disadvantages, so I'll see if you agree with me on this. Yeah, some of them are actually very similar to one another. So I'm going to start with some of the disadvantages. So obviously, it's dishonest. Nobody likes dishonesty. It's deceitful. So hiding anything from your past. It can be a breeding ground for mistrust.
That's true. So I think that's the big problem where So let's say this. I'm thinking of a really good scenario now. Let's say we all went out, all of our friends, all the guys went out, and what happened is we ran into a woman who was particularly interested in me, and we had a chat, and everything seemed fine. Yeah, and they were just, being friendly. It was just a friendly scenario. Nothing bad happened, of course. Everything's great. Your partner says, "Oh, how was your time away?" "Yeah, I had good fun with the lads, this kind of thing." Blah blah blah. Do you then go, this woman joined us and we had this really fun conversation and all this, like, where do you go with that? So personally, I wouldn't bring it up because I'm not going to jump ship and go, well, she seemed great, so see you later, I'm going to go sleep with them or whatever. I'm not that type of person. So I probably wouldn't bring it up, or I would literally bring it up as part of, oh yeah, we ran into this woman as well. She was really, really nice, and she hung around with us a little while. She was really weird, or something like that.
I think that's the right way to go about just saying that you met someone, they're nice, but not trying to. So there is a thing
if she found out, if you didn't say it, and she
that would
found
be
out,
awkward.
That's then when it becomes difficult. And the other way around, if it was a bloke with a bunch,
I'd rather my partner, if I ever heard that she'd gone out. She's actually told me about. So she has a friend that she went on a date with once, and they're now still friends. And she went out once. They had an interview just about her tattoos, but this is in the early stage of the relationship. But she told me everything that happened, and I was absolutely fine with it because I prefer honesty.
Yeah.
So for me, that was absolutely perfect.
And that's good on her part as well, because that's her basically saying, okay, listen, I know if this is an awkward situation, but I went and did this. Everything was fine. We just had a talk. That's really relieving for you.
It's really opening.
It's really opening.
In the future, when situations pop up, let's just say, for example, this person popped up in another situation down the line. I already know the situation she's had with him.
Yeah.
So I already have built up that trust that I'm not going, hang on, they've met before and not told me.
Yeah, then
you start getting those question marks in
even
your head.
even if you trust your partner, you've still got stuff in the back of your head going, hold on a second.
Because you don't.
We had an argument about the washing up the other day. Maybe she still hung up on that, and one bad decision. Things,
especially
mistakes.
The first thing you normally say is, I trust my partner, but I don't trust them.
Yeah,
that can be a breeding ground for mistrust as well.
But then it depends on that. For example, let's say you trusted your partner and then that person then tried to make a move and she came home and said, oh, okay, things got awkward, he tried to make a move, so I'm never going to see him again. I'd be like, okay, but I understand that. Yeah. Whereas if she didn't say anything, it just went fine, and then later on you found out, then that's very much
that was one of the disadvantages I wrote down.
Again, I
could lead to betrayal.
Yes,
which is another one I wrote down.
But again, it depends on the lie. I feel as if this is such a big term.
It is a very big term, but two of the other disadvantages.
If in doubt, just tell them. I think. If in doubt, just tell your partner.
I think honesty all the way, personally, for me, because as I wrote down, it could backfire and damage the relationship. And the physical freedom as well.
True.
So
I feel like trust is number one in a relationship. I agree with that, and that can break or even just start to crack so easily.
And that's going to come up very important later on as well for you.
Wait. So have you finished your list?
So that was the disadvantages. So do you mind if I quickly go through the advantages? I'll try and be quick.
Of lying.
So I do apologise. So can avoid shame.
Yes,
one of them. Could protect your partner, which is an interesting one. So there's going to be times where sometimes not telling them the truth is better. This is not one about love, but my other half once ran over a cat.
Oh,
really terrible thing. And we managed to get it to a vet, but I never told her the outcome of the cat to protect her.
Wow, okay.
I knew that the cat passed away, but I waited about 1.5 years, 2 years later to go, would you like to know what happened? And by then, the wound had healed enough that the truth didn't hurt. Because at the time, she was.
I was going to say, but she's probably listening to this.
She probably listened to it, but she knows now. So,
okay. Well, again, have you seen the film Liar Liar with Jim Carrey?
Yes.
He has a good example in that. He says, he's talking to his son. He said, when your mother was pregnant with you, she gained loads of weight. And she said, do I look pretty? And he said, of course you do. You're glowing. He said, I'm not going to tell her she looks like a cow, which would be the truth, right? And that's a really good example, I think, because...
Could protect your partner.
Because she's in an emotional state at that point in this example. Of course you're not going to say that, because although it is technically a lie, you're not going to hurt her feelings. All it's going to do is cause issues. So I understand that. And I feel like emotions can play a big role. Like you said earlier, when the wound had healed, if it's a very fresh thing that's just happened and someone then goes, right, I'm going to dump all this stuff onto it as well. Yeah. That could cause problems in your relationship. They don't want all that stuff from you. They want it to...
Too much at once sometimes can be enough.
Overwhelming, definitely.
Okay. So I've got 2 more points left for this one. So it could hide your past/identity. So let's just say, for example, you want to start a new life. Sometimes it is good to keep secrets. Now, I don't want to say what kind of secrets they've had, but sometimes a fresh start is better.
Are you burning your passport, Ben?
No, terribly not. And some secrets are too heavy to share.
Okay, yeah. But,
so again,
agreed.
But again, we're not going to go down what kind of secrets they're having. I think that's a bit too dark for one.
I think there's again, we discussed that it's not black or white here. It's very much a spectrum. It depends how heavy the lie is, and the lie weight really depends on how much it affects you at that point. And if you're in a relationship with someone for multiple years, they could literally come back and just say, by the way, I wanted to tell you this a long time ago, but I was really connected to my grandfather and he died a few years ago. And that's why sometimes you'd be like, oh my God, that now it all makes sense. But now
the anniversary of the death.
Yeah, the anniversary of death. Or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why okay. And of course, you'd probably wish that they told you sooner, but it's too hard for them. Yeah. And they don't want to make a big deal about it. So I understand that. So again, depends on the lie.
Totally agree.
If it affects the relationship, I feel as if you should just say.
I feel like that was a very deep part we went into there with all of that. I do apologise. But I'm good. I tried to keep it as light as I physically could.
No, that's good. I feel as if we're both on the same page with that pretty much.
I think me and you do seem so far to be quite agreeable on what we agree is.
I'm scared, man.
Right. I'm happy to take the next question, I think, because I think that's your turn.
Okay, here we go. So talking in broader terms with relationships, what is the first thing you look for in a partner? be it something like personality or looks or compatibility, the first thing you'd look at, like in order.
Okay.
So let's say you just saw someone.
So I think the
love at first sight.
So there is a few things that happen. They do sort of almost happen immediately, I do believe. Mm-hmm. So the first things first that you can't help, everyone does this, is eye contact. Mm-hmm. The very first thing, if you now, let's just say for example, you're standing there and they walk straight up to you, you're oblivious that they were there until they're right in your face. You make that eye contact, and straight away, if they've got, like, for me, eyes is one very important thing. So if I get eye contact, I look at their eyes, I can go, oh, I could lose myself in their eyes.
I can imagine you do that smile that you can't stop doing, but you're like, oh my God. Like,
yeah. And I think the next thing is the smile. Because I'm a sucker for a smile. I'm an absolute sucker. If someone now gives me a cheeky grin, I know I can do. I can do a cheeky grin. So I know if someone else can do one just equally at me, I will melt. Look,
wait, a creepy grin, yeah?
Any sort of grin, any sort of. Oh, what are we going to do to you?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
What else? So yeah, I suppose.
So this is almost looks first.
Yeah, I suppose in initial seconds you might not actually hear them talk. Very, and depending on if you walk in on them and they're talking to someone else, then maybe yes, you might hear them talk. There are things that are important, but they do come slightly later on down the line because. For me, for example, accent isn't as important, or the way they talk. Although I will, without realising it, I might judge them a little bit. If they start talking to me so Norfolkly, then maybe, I might go, okay, that's a bit much. But
literally, to people who are listening to this, they probably think, go on, these boys sound right Norfolk. I don't know why I gave them a Norfolk accent.
You're doing it now. But yeah,
I like that, but I do.
Accents are not terribly important. I think it is nice. Like everyone has like an accent they like. For example, I'm not so keen on the sound of an Irish accent as some people believe. Some people are really into.
I quite like the Irish accent.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people do, but for me, it's not a make or break. For example, if I now said, all right, I can make my own girlfriend out of Play-Doh and give her attributes and stuff like that, and people go, right, what type of accent can I give her? For me personally, the Aussie accent was a New Zealand accent.
Interesting.
So. Again, okay, I'm going a bit off subject. I do apologise.
Yeah, but wow, accent mean a lot. I mean, obviously, they don't mean a lot to you, Ben. But you've gone through that. You've been talking about that for a long time.
But I do appreciate a good accent. But it's not the end of the world. It's not one of the first things I look for.
So if they didn't have an accent or sounded like relatively you can't say normal. It's got to be an accent that you've heard enough that it sounds like regular to you, or at least around Norfolk where we live. So if that was the case, then you wouldn't even bat an eyelid about it. But if they suddenly started sounding all Aussie. You'd be like, whoa, bonus points.
Yeah, I would melt if they started talking in Australia. I'd be like, oh yeah, you can say anything. You can say anything you want to me right now.
Whoa,
but okay, what else do I look for? So another thing, when it comes to, let's just say, the looks department, is sometimes the hair. Now it's a very peculiar one, but everyone normally says like blondes or brunettes, for example. Yeah. I have a sort of, I noticed for a while that I went through a phase where I dated people who I didn't realise were all redheads. So I had a thing for different coloured hair, not just red. Partner who has green, pink, and purple and blue in her hair.
So exotic.
So I like people who make a unique effort sometimes, not just gone for the standard hairstyle, but have tried different things. That can sometimes draw me in. Like my partner who has. I think they call it like a space bun on the head. So it looks like a bagel's just basically sitting on the top of their heads. That's the easiest way to describe it to people. Maybe I'll put a picture up online for people. But I think they look amazing like that. And she went to a photo shoot about a year ago now. And they did her hair up for this photo shoot in the style of I think it was like the 70s. They did decades for the photo shoot. And her hair looked absolutely fantastic. And I think hairstyles can be something that I can spot, in the first.
So hairstyles and colours.
Yeah, so I think that's something important as well. Yeah. Would you say fashion sense is something that you notice personally?
Ben, this is all about you, Ben.
This is all about me.
This is all about you.
Okay, well, I'll try and keep it short and sweet. I do think fashion sense plays a small part in it. It's not a huge part, but I do think when you first sort of bump into someone, let's just say, for example, they're wearing a onesie and it's like 12 o'clock at night, they've just gone into the local supermarket. You're not really going to have that sort of, let's just say, love at first sight moment because we spoke about it earlier. But I would not probably give them a second glance because I wouldn't have noticed they were there because it's something so common.
Agreed.
But as if they were wearing something a lot, I don't know, a nice pair of jeans and a nice t-shirt, maybe like it's got a band that I recognise on it as well, or it's got a TV show, an anime, or something like that. I go, oh, and it kind of goes, oh, we've got something in common already because I've already spotted something that I also like.
So something that stands. So you've mentioned a lot of things that kind of make people stand out, Ben. So for example, redheads, which are uncommon realistically. I know we see them a few times, but they are technically uncommon. Different coloured hairs as well. Yeah. You mentioned a space bun, which is not that common. Lots of different things that are not very common. So realistically, you're saying things that are you want someone to be unique.
I actually do kind of agree. I do. There's nothing wrong with being the norm, as people say in society, but sometimes being unique makes you stand out in a way, and I do think that can draw attention. That's why a lot of TikTokers of today, a lot of YouTubers, myself included, having multicoloured hair. What colour is your hair, Ben? Oh god, it's lots of colours today. But just having different unique qualities. It will draw people to you or even just to look at you. I mean, that's why a lot of people do it these days, and I suppose that's why it's becoming a bit more of a norm than what it was maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah. So being unique. So you basically, what you've mentioned so far is entirely looks.
I suppose you're right.
Looks are a big part for you. Really big part. Yeah. And a lot more than I was anticipating, actually.
Yeah, I suppose when you put it that way, I suppose in the first 20, 30 seconds of meeting someone, that's the first thing to draw you to them.
Eyes, mouth, do they have fancy hair? Do they have an accent?
What sounds clothes really are they wearing? Bad, doesn't it? It sounds terrible.
No, I don't think it sounds terrible. I think it sounds very... You're looking for someone who's slightly different and a bit unique, which is good because if you imagine someone who's normal, you imagine them as kind of like grey, a blob, but you still haven't gone into personality. So what, you just...
Okay, so there is a few things with personality I look for. Like, I would say they've got to have some sort of sense of humour that is on a wavelength or an understandable wavelength to myself. Because I'm quite quirky. I am a bit of an oddball. I laugh at stupid things. If someone fall over, I'm bound to laugh. If my friend is winding me up and we're having a little bit of banter, I will sit there and I'll join in. I won't stand in the corner. I'll sit there and annoy them as well. And I think having a partner with that sort of humour as well, or something similar enough, is definite yes. That humour, I think, is very important. I like when it comes to, like, let's just say, for example, interests as well. I like to have at least one or two common grounds. It doesn't have to be everything. Like, let's just say, for example, the same maybe TV shows. So you got something to sit down and watch together, or same films.
So when you're relaxing, you can both relax together.
Yeah, and obviously it's nice that they go off and do their own thing. I go off and do mine, and then when we come back at the end of the day, we can talk about what we've both been up to. Because if you both did the same thing together, you get tired of talking about it because you both know what the other person's going to say. So it's nice that they have their own grounds.
Yeah,
I think let's just say, for example, meeting someone like, let's just say, who has a sports interest, for me, that would be really interesting. Because I always like to exercise. I'm quite physically active, and having meet someone who likes to do like physical activities as well, it's something I can watch them do. I could go and watch them perform, watch them play,
and you'd enjoy that too.
And I'd enjoy that as well.
So that makes sense, yeah. So if it was a hobby that they were really into but you weren't particularly interested, you'd probably go for moral support. But realistically, you're there for them and not to enjoy the sport or whatever.
Yeah, but I could still enjoy it because I'd understand what's going on.
Yeah, because it's making them happy as well.
Yeah.
I get you. So realistically, the first connection is majorly looks, and then I guess what you're saying is maybe even on the first night, other than the major things that would be expressed very instantly, like, for example, if they suddenly start talking to you and treating you really badly, that's obviously a major no. But you've skipped that entirely. You're assuming that they're a bit different. Judging by their looks, you can almost tell mostly what their personality is going to be like. And
I suppose so.
Well, let's just say this. Let's just say you ran into someone, they had funky coloured hair, maybe a really nice hairstyle, they looked after themselves, but they were wearing, an anime top that you really like. you know they watch that anime, you know that they've got funky coloured hair too, and
you can build up common ground quite quickly.
Build up common ground very, very quickly. They've had to have done that, which you've done as well, because your hair is a fancy colour. You've got a Deadpool top on. So, you know, there's already common ground. So your personalities must coincide and be similar in a certain degree already.
Okay, I've actually got some. I went so before I got with my partner, I went on a date a very long time ago now. This must be about 7 or 8 years ago. I was working and this girl kept coming into where I work, and we kept making this eye contact. And you know how, like you say, there's a spark. Like when you see someone, you're going, you know, her eyes are beautiful.
You get butterflies or whatever.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. And
butterfly effect, Jesus.
But like,
yes.
She came in a lot. She never used to come in. All of a sudden, she was there, and I would serve her quite a few times, and there'd be that awkward sort of, "Hi, you all right? How you doing?" And I didn't know at the time that she liked me as well. Okay. So putting this forward, there was a spark there. It was definitely a spark, and we decided to serve each other on the till one day. I went to the till with the intent. I'd already written down my phone number on a bit of paper, and I was intent on handing it over. And then all of a sudden, someone on the till became available. And I thought, oh no, she's going to go to another till. I can't just walk up to her and randomly hand it to her because I can't create the conversation, get it going.
Yeah.
And then she let someone in front of her go. And
so you knew at that point.
And at that point, I'm like, I'm really starting to get shaky.
I can see you shaking. I can see you shaking right now.
I was like, oh my God, this is like something out of a dream. This is going really like. And she came over, and there was that awkward sort of silence but giddy sort of giggle between us, like, "How you doing? You all right?" "Yeah, I'm really good. How are you?" And I turned around and went to like say something along the lines of like, "Would you like to go out sometime?" And I was about to hand my phone number, and she'd already written her number down on a bit of paper and handed it over, and she said, like, you know, "I'm new to Norwich, you know, please show me around and stuff." And I was just like, perfect.
Wow, that's nice.
She, you know, she was beautiful. She had all these connections. I was like, great. Then we went on the date.
Oh.
And I was really nervous. I'd already had a drink with my family, who were all there. Not there while we had the date. They were at the same pub at the time.
That's awkward. Here's my entire family.
That would be really awkward. But they left, and they actually went past the window and had a look through at us two while we were on a date. But luckily, she didn't notice at the time.
Okay.
We sat down for about 3.5, 4 hours.
Wow.
We had nothing in common.
Oh, no.
Absolutely nothing. No music, film. She didn't like any sorts of sports or exercises. Oh. We had nothing. So we sat there, and
You're trying to find it. You're trying to make it work. I was
fighting so hard. But my problem was I'd just come out of a relationship at the time.
Okay.
And it was a difficult relationship that I'd come out of. And because I didn't know what to talk about, it occasionally popped up about an ex, and that's a terrible thing to do. Yeah. You should not do it. But I struggled so hard to make conversation that day that I just spoke about anything that I could get. Because if I didn't talk, she didn't talk. And I'm very talkative. But if I couldn't get her to talk, it was just not working. And I think we got a taxi back, dropped her off on the way home. And I went home that night. And I was quite giddy, but there was something in the back of my head that said, it's not going to work. Yeah. I texted her asking her if she'd like a second date to give it another go, just a picnic this time. And she was absolutely lovely about it, but she said, "I'm really sorry. It's not going to happen because there's just not enough in common." And I never saw her again, which is really sad.
Yeah.
But I think going by what you said, having that common ground is so important as well.
Yeah.
But that is something sometimes you don't notice straight away. But like a first date is always a perfect way to find out. That's why I think dates are that important.
Yeah, it is. And obviously this example is that there was clearly some attraction physically. And then when it came to, you know, personality and hobbies and compatibility.
But it just shows how important all these things are combined.
Yeah.
Because you can't just work off of looks alone.
No.
So yeah.
No, okay. So that's I've been on a few dates, and it's got to the point where I think I haven't ever had it as bad as that, where literally nothing was in common. But I've got to the point where, it's annoying when there's one or two things in common. So basically, you exhaust that. You completely exhaust that subject. You talk about it so much that you get to the point where you're just like, we need to talk about something else now. But there's no other common ground. And then you get to that point where it's just the awkwardness of, well, sorry, what do I bring up now? And I have had that where I've gone, oh, thoughts about my ex or whatever, what I would talk to her about, pop into your head, which is like literally the worst place to go.
It is.
Hi, my name's Ben. By the way, I split up with my ex. That's like, whoa.
Yeah, that can be bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I've also been on a date with the girl I met on a dating website. I think it was like Plenty of Fish back when that used to be popular before. I don't know what the popular one is used now.
Tinder.
Yeah, so I never used Tinder. But before then, I met this girl, Plenty of Fish. We went bowling, had a lovely time bowling because you can chat if you want to, but you can just hang out without having to fill in gaps and stuff like that. And when it got to the end, we sat down and she was talking to me and I couldn't get a word in. Which is a bad thing because I like to feel like you reciprocate conversation. Like I know introverts now, extroverts, you can have one happily listen for hours. But for me, I like to be 50-50.
Yeah, I think I agree. At least more than 0-100.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
Yeah.
But when I was talking to her, I struggled to get any sort of talk in. But she was also talking about her illnesses and her ailments, her conditions, and things that I wouldn't have pointed out or picked up. But I think she was quite paranoid. So like she was saying about her twitchy eye through something that happened to her. And I understood. It's absolutely fine. I'm happy to hear about...
That's something you could have noticed, so that's fine.
That's actually fine. But when she was talking to me, kind of made me feel like I would become a carer more than a partner.
Okay.
And because there wasn't that initial spark, I was happy to continue the date. I waited until all the way through the end, carried it out. And then when we got home, we just never arranged a second date. And she did message me somewhere down the line asking, like, why don't guys like me? But I didn't really feel like it was my position to turn around and give either criticisms or support.
Yeah.
I just said, you will meet someone one day. I do apologise that, it wasn't that way between us. But I do feel like that is something that's very important on like a first date, being able to express yourself, but not giving away too much of yourself as well.
Yeah, I agree. And especially telling, again, like we said before about bringing up exes or talking about exes, you don't just suddenly go, hi, my name's Ben. By the way, have you noticed my peg leg and this? And
my missing arm.
And I've got this mental disability.
You're going to have to chew my food for me.
Whoa.
You're going to have to carry me room to room. Like, oh my God, I didn't expect to take all this on straight away.
Yeah, then it becomes... Yeah, then it's just I am looking for a carer more than an actual partner.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe she was. Maybe she considers like love or whatever to be someone who's caring for her.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go on to another one of my points for us today. So, how important is it for the family to approve of your partner? So this is going to be more of a personal one for you at the moment, but you can also express whether you think it's important in general.
Okay.
So let's just say, for example, you've got your mum.
Yeah.
You say you've got a brother and a sister as well?
I've got 3 brothers.
3 brothers.
And 1 sister.
And 1 sister. How important do you feel like you would have to introduce them? Would you introduce them quite early on, a lot later down the line?
Okay. So,
would you seek their approval of your partner?
So I think meeting the parents is more of a... really depends on the scenario. That's a hard one. So approval. So I think long as they don't hate them, I think that's okay. They don't have to be like, oh my God, they're the best person in the world. I see why you're with them. I don't care about that. I just want them to go, oh, if they suddenly go, something seems not right there, then I would take that on and be like, oh, what? Please let me know. Is there something that I've overlooked? Because sometimes you can be too close. You can be too close to the scenario. Someone at the back going, oh, this happened. And you go, crap, actually, that does happen. She talks over me all the time. That's a bit bad. And then it's something you can work on.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, if I was dating someone that my friends or family said that they hated, that would be a big issue for me. A big issue because I trust I'm at the point now where I'm pushing 30. So I feel as if I'm at the point where I've gone past all the bad relationships. Not that I have, but
you feel like you've learned enough now.
Yeah, I can trust my instincts to be to the point where I'm not just in it because, love at first sight and all the the feelings and all that, the lust and all that stuff is taking over, and I'm ignoring all the red flags. I'm past that. I'm at to the point where I'm going, right, I just want someone who's not going to annoy me all the time.
Well,
so
we are old enough now to understand the difference between right and wrong in simple layman's terms, but it's the same on the reasons of why we seek approval from our parents in the first place.
That's true.
Because from a young age, we used to look at our parents for approval from everything in order to learn from our own mistakes and see if we can progress for it and understand where we've gone wrong. I think that's the same when we're in a relationship. When we're very young, 12, 13, 14, we generally try, most cases we hide our relationships from our parents. We don't really introduce them too often because a lot of parents will do that silent in the background. And a lot of the time we'll go, shut up, Dad, or shut up, Mum. You don't need to know about this.
Yeah.
And once they break up, they'll go, yeah, I knew that was wrong for you. And most of the time, a lot of parents will sort of generally, not all of them, but they will step back and go like, I didn't think they were right for you, but I couldn't see they were too much of a danger. That's normally when parents get involved, when they think, okay, he's a really bad egg.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they will step back and just leave you to it.
No, I think that's fine. I think a lot of people, again, as well, it could be that if I was dating someone and they happen to be particularly quiet, that could be an issue for my family because my family are very much extroverts to the point where we have ridiculously long conversations about generally nothing because people just want to talk and express themselves all the time, which is very frustrating sometimes. But if I dated someone who was particularly shy, they could see that as like, that's kind of annoying. But that's just one of those things where it really depends on the thing. I think my mum, for example, she's never really, sorry mum, she's never really been in a stable relationship for that long. She has for a few years, but nothing like ridiculously long. So I would trust more like my brother, who's been with his wife now for over 10 years. So like it's been a long amount of time. And I trust that he has similar, I guess, I want to say senses to me, but because he's outside of it, he could see that, something seems wrong here.
Yeah. And
he has told me before. I've introduced him to someone I dated a while ago. We went out for a double date, and that was really fun. And he said that she was quite nice, although there was this one little thing. And I was like, that's something I find annoying as well. And I hadn't really ever thought about it.
Yeah.
So there is that. And that's really useful because my family are usually quite honest with each other.
Yeah.
So realistically for me, when they meet, so my current partner, all my family's met her now. But the last person I introduced her to was my brother, my older brother, because that's kind of the most important to me.
Yeah.
So because that was the most important to me, I wanted to delay it as long as possible. So I was 100% sure about her before I'd introduce her to him.
Yeah.
And after they met, he was like, yeah, she's nice. She's really lovely.
She
made a few jokes, and that was great. And I was like, well, I just, when you just know, like he didn't even message me. He didn't even be like, she's lovely. It was just, we met up again. I was like, oh, boy, what did you think of her? She was like, yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah,
she was just, there was nothing wrong. So he wasn't being like, whoa, crap, I better let him know.
Yeah.
So there was that.
To be fair, when me and my partner got together, we were two opposite ends of the spectrum. Because for me, I'm not saying my family are not important or their opinions do not matter, but we do our own thing. So we don't meet up very often. We'll meet up once every couple of months, have a little catch up, and then off we go. And then we carry on with our own separate lives because we're very different people.
Yeah.
So my sister's vegan, so she has her own community that she often spends a lot of time in that industry.
I think I've seen your sister more than you've seen her, Ben.
You probably have. That sounds wrong.
Yeah, that sounds wrong.
But rephrase that.
When you live in Norwich, it's not exactly the biggest place in the world.
Very true. Very true.
A few of my friends are friends with her, so seen her
and then I got my father, a bit of a social recluse. Absolutely fine. He's happy.
As long as he's happy. As long as everyone's happy.
He's happy. And then you've got my mother, who lives a bit further away, so I don't see her too often.
Okay.
And then we get to my other half, who within about a couple of weeks of being together, maybe less than a month, she introduced me to not only like her mum and dad. I met her sister, her brother-in-law. I met her aunts, her uncles, her cousins.
Wow.
There was about 15 of them all watching me within a short space. It was basically, she said for her, it was sink or swim. Her family are that important.
Throwing you in at the deep end.
She basically said, my family are that important to me. If you want to, if you want me to sort of approve of you, you need all of their approval. She never told me that.
Wow.
But that's how important her family was to her before we sort of made it official.
Mm.
I was okay with it. I mean, I'm still with her.
You're an extrovert, Ben.
We didn't
I imagine
sync.
you were fine.
I've got a bit of an odd sense of humour, so I generally fit in with most groups without being a bit too weird. And I get on with them really well. I mean, last time I met them, I won a bottle of Prosecco in a competition. So, nice. I get along fine with them all really well. Mm. But I do think seeking approval from your parents, I do think is sort of fairly important. I think I'm happy to say that, I wouldn't have to go to my parents to show them off like some sort of trophy. But I would eventually want them just to meet them at least once and go, yeah, she's nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a normal thing, and I think the same with friends as well. And I wouldn't I consider my friends to be maybe even more important than my family when it comes to approval, because if my partner doesn't get on with my friends, at least to the point where everyone's okay with each other, then it makes it awkward for me to go on partner, because most of my friends are in relationships. So when we meet up, we usually meet up everybody. So partners and all. So if I went then by myself, which I would still do, to be honest, it doesn't bother me too much. But I'd like to bring my partner along because I think it'd be fun and it's something to do and talk about, and it makes it a nice thing, a nice experience.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Right. So my turn, Ben.
Okay.
So this is actually quite a touchy subject with a lot of people, because I feel like this could be something that is quite debatable, and I've heard people before discuss this and debate this. So the question is, do you think relationships should be easy, or do they require work? And I've heard people, I don't know why this comes up, especially in bars, but people talk about this all the time. They happen to be in a relationship which, there may be difficult times or something's happened and they've had to work on it. And there's maybe a new couple who are in a relationship and it's just been plain sailing so far. And they're saying, no, it should be easy. I wouldn't want to do this if it was difficult.
This is a very broad spectrum. Yeah, there are some people who connect instantly. They're like two puzzle pieces. They'll go together, and because of the way that they fit in with one another, they don't really come across many issues. So there's nothing to really snap back at one another. But I think it depends on your partner as well, because I've met a lot of people, and I hear a lot of stories where you'll meet two people who are very similar for the wrong reasons. They're quite snappy. They can be quite loud. Now, I'm not saying that they're terrible people. I mean,
so they're bad.
These are
bad
maybe
traits.
They're bad traits, for example. And when you meet someone with very similar traits, they will create a spark for the wrong reasons, and they'll have arguments quite often. And a lot of the time, they're not terrible arguments. They're arguments because they enjoy an argument. I've known people who actually enjoy a good argument.
Yeah.
And so for them, that seems like work, because when you start arguing, you argue for reasons that you're not really sure. Because after a while, you're just arguing because you can.
Yeah, you're arguing for the sake of it.
And obviously, I'm not saying that all relationships are like that, because I rarely argue. I'm not really into that sort of thing. But that can be seen as work. Whereas people who don't argue, often or not, they don't really have as much to work on. Not saying they don't, but I mean...
So you think it's compatibility? It's to do with compatibility?
I think it is, yeah. Okay. I mean...
So two people who are maybe slightly less compatible might have to do a bit more work, or people who are too compatible but for the wrong reasons might have to do a bit more work.
Yeah.
But everything else should be relatively...
I see it as both really. I mean, if I'm speaking from my own experience, I think some relationships start off with needing no work whatsoever. And then down the line, because a lot of relationships have what is known as the honeymoon period.
Yeah.
Where you don't show your bad habits.
It's like 6 months, they say, or something like that.
They say 6 months. And I think that in those 6 months, sometimes there's nothing wrong at all.
Yeah. And
you think, oh, they haven't had to do anything. And then all of a sudden, boom, there is just something that hits the works. That's it.
Yeah.
And then that's where it needs work. And if you're willing to work for it, then yeah, that relationship will last. But often or not, a lot of people will decide there and then it's too much.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with a lot of relationships, where it's work. If you're not willing to work, it's not going to work. And I think that's the problem why people say, oh, everyone has it so easy, because they're not willing to put in the work now. They've gotten that far into the relationship, they're not now willing to work for it. And I can't blame them. if they know that's not the one for them, they know they're not willing to spend the rest of their life with them. I totally understand that.
I agree with that. I feel like a lot of people get to the the end of the honeymoon period part, and then they go, "What the hell's happened to this relationship? Like we used to be so compatible." But it's not even the case. It's that they, all the doors are open now. Everyone's fully expressing everything, and now suddenly things that you obviously are compatible with are now being diluted with the things you're not compatible with, because everyone has, everyone's more complicated than just their good habits. They also have their bad habits and everything else as well, everything in between, should we say. So yeah, I agree with that. And even it could just literally stem from you've had a bad day, they've had a bad day, and now suddenly these bad habits are kicking in from both of you, and it's just a major clash, and it can obviously end that way. But when it comes to something like it being easy or being a relationship, I agree as well. I think it is a compatibility thing and to do with time, because even if you get in a relationship when you're a bit younger, and people change as they get older.
I think that is a key word, time there, isn't it?
Time. Yeah, it affects people in such ways. Or even an experience, someone could die in their family. That changes people. It could be anything could happen. They fundamentally change from that, and then your compatibilities are at the point where
something simple as a job.
Anything.
It sounds ridiculous, but even changing job, just knowing that you're working different hours from your partner, that can create friction, because all of a sudden you don't see each other as much.
Agreed. Or you see each other too much.
Exactly.
And I mean, I know a lot of people say, like, well, how can you see each other too much? But a lot of people like to have time just to themselves. They can, they get home from work, they have a bit of like, okay, I can just get that out, get out of work mode, get back into relaxing mode. Then their partner comes home from work, and now they're in a great mood. Their partner comes home and everything's great. But now they both arrive home at the same time. They've both, they're still steaming a bit from work, and they just vent at each other, and that can be bad.
Time alone.
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, especially if you're in a love relationship, Ben, then you need your time alone.
Exactly. Okay, shall we go on to the next one?
Yes.
So the next one is actually quite similar to one you did earlier. So we'll try not to spend too long, but what is the most important thing for you in a relationship? So what kind of traits, shall we say, the traits?
So I think trust. Trust is a very big one on both ends, to the point where not only do you trust someone, but you've got no reason to not trust them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
no.
Some people...
So I've got that down as honesty.
Yeah,
so trust and honesty go hand in hand.
So it can easily kind of become corrupt. So, if your partner, for example, goes out a lot of the time, let's say, for example, your partner really likes clubbing. They go clubbing a lot. Clubbing involves being drunk, have lots of people, maybe even like being a bit touchy-feely and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could cause issues, because not because they're being untrustworthy, but you suddenly don't trust them because of the environment they're going into. That's just an example.
Very true.
Then it's your issue. You don't trust them. It's not that they're not trustworthy. So you also need to trust someone, and they need to be able to trust you. And that's the way it works. So realistically, if you think your partner's doing something, but realistically there's no reason for that, it's you who has the issue there. So I think that's number one, trust.
Number one, trust. Okay. What other traits would you say are important? You don't have. Let's just say you're not building up your own character. Character.
So just.
But what ones you kind of look for? So, I can read out. I've got 5 particular ones here that are very important. I think they're sort of the main ones.
Right.
So honesty and trust, which we have gone through. Number 2, because I kind of looked at a poll online to see what people sort of mainly meant for. Number 2 is communication.
See, this is the thing. Communication for me is definitely a big one, because let's say this as well. Let's say you don't live together. You're not chatting all the time. I express myself a lot through actual. You have to be able to see me through literally expression rather than just talking. So let's say I send a message. They could take it the wrong way, or I could take whatever they.
I agree with that.
And it happens a lot.
Text messaging.
I hate it.
Yeah. I love being able to message people, but I hate the fact you can misread it so easily.
So I know people hate this, but I use emojis a lot, because if I'm saying something that's like a joke, I can put something to express that I am just saying a joke.
I think that's why I like putting memes in things as well.
Yeah, exactly. GIFs and shit work as well. Like that all really helps, because then you're like, what? And then you get like the big stupid lol thing. You're like, oh, okay, he's being funny.
Yeah.
That case, because people can be like, oh, that's not right. But also not just through text and messages, but literally through like voice, like a call as well. Because although you can hear expression. It's to do with being able to see it. I think that means a lot. I really do. And especially since So my girlfriend currently lives 100 miles away, so it's long distance. So communication is a thing that we did struggle with for quite a while, and it was really, really hard because although the messages tend out to be mostly fine, we're both finished work, want to chat with each other, and then we've realised that we're both a bit tired. That hits the fan hard. And that's the thing as well. If you came home from work and you lived with your partner and you're both a bit tired and you're just like, I'm really tired.
Can we just snuggle up? Face, can't you?
Yeah, can we just snuggle up on the sofa? And that's enough that you're touching and stuff and watching a movie, and that's fine. Yeah. But when you literally have to talk, you're like, oh God, it becomes almost work again.
Yeah.
So that can be a big issue as well. So not just communication, but also being able to express yourself well.
Yeah.
Understanding.
No, I completely agree and understand on that one.
Yes.
So the other one that came next was commitment.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Of course.
So obviously,
I wouldn't even think about that. I'd be like, if we're dating, then there's commitment here.
Oh, yeah. So next was respect. So it's kind of like a very simple one there, but like, let's just say, for example, you have
I wouldn't say that's simple, Ben.
But like, just like if someone else has an interest that is not to you, you might not like it, but you have to respect that that's what they like.
Yeah.
And I think you have to sort of let them do what they like in a way. Obviously not controlling sort of way, but it's like you have to respect their interests, their hobbies. And everything.
Interests, hobbies, beliefs, everything, I think. And respect is actually a big one for, I know suddenly all these are really big ones for me, but respect is a big one for me because I feel like there's so much disrespect in the world. Definitely. And like, for example, with my family, a couple of my brothers are teenagers. And we know when you're a teenager, sometimes you can be a bit disrespectful, for example.
Yeah.
So, for example, my brother will come around, my younger brother, and he'll go into he'll be like, oh, can I have a shower? I'll be like, that's fine. Go in the shower, wash himself, leave water everywhere. And like, it's just like, how did you make such, and that's disrespectful to me. That's them going, well, this isn't worth me doing that. So next time they come around saying, can I have a shower? I'm like, no. And I'm like, what? Why not? Because you didn't respect my home. You know, if you don't disrespect me, you disrespect my family. You know, it's that type of thing. And I feel like that is a big thing. If they go out of the way to do something that's annoying for me, for example, let's just say it is a mess. They make a mess that they know I've got to clear up. Yeah. That annoys me. That's disrespectful. I'm not going to go to their house and just cause, shit everywhere and then be like, well, lol, good luck.
So, it can be interpreted through relationships as well.
Through anything. Yeah. That's just an example I can give.
Okay, last one for this one is,
my frustrations.
which is something actually you pointed out earlier, boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
Is another very important one. I do, like you said earlier, when you come home, sometimes you need time to yourself to unwind physically before you move on to do your next activities. I can actually turn around and say that sometimes when I get home from work, it's very rarely because me and my partner do work opposite shifts, but sometimes when I get home, she's there. But she's not just there at home, she's there. She's about 6 inches in front of me, and she's already going, right, let's go and do some housework together. Or, right, I want to tell you about my day. And you're like, can I just get through the front door first? Can I just put myself down?
Can I have 10 minutes?
Can I actually, like, she's like, let's put tea on. I'm like, can I just get changed first? But boundaries, I think, are very important.
I totally agree with that. And I feel as if, I'm definitely an extrovert. I like talking to people. I like thrive around people, definitely. But let's say I'm a sim from The Sims. My social media gets full, and when that's full, I just want to be left alone. I just want to do whatever the hell I want to do, which probably requires laying in bed watching something or whatever.
That's part of being an extrovert, isn't it? Because you're putting on that persona as well, aren't you? Because being an extrovert, you're being a bit more than yourself to people.
I guess so, yeah.
And when you sit down, sometimes you just want to breathe. Because you don't
I think especially after COVID, like I got so much time to myself. I suddenly realized how much I love myself, and that sounds really, really.
Do you now?
I love myself. No, like my personal time and space is very important to me. And suddenly I was like, damn, I can like sleep well, and I haven't got people bothering me. And all I can do is put my phone on silent, and no one ever comes here because they can't. I'm alone. And now suddenly I'm having to see people, and I love it. Of course, it's so nice to be able to see my friends, but I'm suddenly exhausted. It's like, God, this is hard work because I have to talk, I have to go do things, I have to leave the house. What is going on here? And as much as I love it, my ideal situation would be go out for the afternoon and then relax for the evening. If we're out all day, I'm exhausted because is hard work. And I think boundaries and just being left alone, especially in case of a relationship, like you say, you come in from work and she's right in your face. I guarantee if you did that to her, she wouldn't like that either.
Oh yeah.
So you have to respect
You have
both
to have a little
each
bit of
other's
space every now
boundaries.
and again.
Yeah, and I feel as if, especially when it's something like work, where you're almost going off into this other world that your partner has nothing to do with. She doesn't know what you've done. You don't know what she's done. And then suddenly you come back and you both just have to go, right, I need to get out of this. I need to get back to me before I can,
But I can say that's also down to respect as well. Because when she comes up to me, I know she's just really happy to see me.
Yeah.
So I know that even though she's crushing my boundary, I know that once I've got through the door, once she's said to me everything she needs to, she will step back.
That's good.
She's just it's like almost like
a dog.
You're
going to say it. I knew you were going to say it.
I didn't want to say it. It's almost like having a dog who jumps up you the second you walk through the door. And goes, hello, what have you been up to today? I need to tell you that I did this and done that.
She just wants a cuddle and for you to give her a bit of attention because she might have had a rough day.
But can I get my shoes off?
Yeah, and then she'll leave you alone. Yeah, I agree.
So, Jamie, we're going to go into a slightly more complicated one, but I'm going to break it and make it easier for you. So how do you know when it's the right time in a relationship to say I love you? So I followed a survey and I don't understand where they get the percentages from because there's no way this makes 100% of people, but there is 3. So 62% believe you should say it as soon as you feel it's right.
Okay.
22% said it after several months.
Okay.
3% said you should wait at least a year. And that only left 87%. So I'm going to assume the other 13% came up with some really stupid and random ones.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw one in there as well. I would say you wait until they say it first. If you were ready...
That'll never happen.
But
we both do that.
Yeah, you could potentially be waiting. But I'm going to throw that as an option 4. What one would you do personally? What one do you think is right?
See, this is hard because, for example, my partner and I have been together for 6 months now.
Okay.
And we had this discussion a little while ago where basically she just said that she just wanted to know, like, how I felt. And I said, I feel as if you are ready to say what I think you'd want to say, but I really, really like you. And that's almost like a kick to the face, isn't it? And I hate that. And it made me feel so awkward. But again, I feel as if...
How did she react when you said that?
She was disappointed, of course, but it's not like I'm going, oh, well, I guess, you're a bit ahead of me laters. I'll find someone that... No, of course.
You didn't break up because you're still together.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's when you're ready, but I think... I don't know when... Again, it's been 6 months, and I said to her, we'll discuss this again after a year. Just to be like, okay, just hopefully.
So I'm going to
I'm
stand
worried
back
that
from
after
that
a year, what if I still think the same?
So I'm going to stand in and disagree with you actually on that one. So I feel like a year is too long. I think.
Don't put this pressure on me, Ben.
No. This is
when
just
I'm ready.
A personal thing. I think you do have to know when you're ready.
Yeah.
I think if it's over a year, then it sounds terrible if I say you need to sort yourself out or you need to think about it. But if you're still not ready to say I love you, then maybe are you saying to yourself you're not sure if this is a relationship that you want?
Again, I feel
it's a very complicated one.
I agree with that. I do agree with that, and I think, again, I was married before. I've been in love with someone.
So would you say that you've got a bit of a wall?
Not even a wall, just more of I want to make sure it's right. More than anything, I've discussed this with my mum, and she was like, "Oh, it sounds like you got a bit of a wall up." But I don't feel like I'm not against love. I would love to be, because when I was married before, I felt like I was blindly in love, and I ignored all the red flags, and I was okay with that because I just let it happen, and everything seemed fine for I was with her for 8 years, so obviously it seemed fine for a long time. But now I think I don't want to do that again. I don't want to, because when that was over, I felt like I'd lost 8 years of my life. That's kind of what it felt like. So I feel as if this time, when we get to that point, I would hate to not mean it. So I'm going to wait until it feels right. And like I say, it's fun. Occasionally I'll be like, she's done something which I've really enjoyed and I've loved and it's been great. But I don't feel like I'm ready to say that.
No, that's absolutely fair. At the end of the day, everyone is different. I think you do have to follow your own choice.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people say. So for me personally, I think it was after about 6 months. So funnily enough, I was the first one of the two of us to say girlfriend.
Oh.
but she was the first person to say I love you. But I did, as far as I remember, it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure I reciprocated back, love you too.
Okay.
And the one thing I will point out now, this is
You're like, thanks, mate. Punch her on the shoulder.
Cheers. And then give him like a Chinese.
Everybody loves me. And then stop.
Yeah. I think what was it? Was the Chinese
burn?
Chinese burn.
Yeah.
Love you. Yeah. I think the one thing as well. This is going back to that I love you. Saying it too much.
Mm.
So me and my other half, we now have two differences of opinion on this one. So I'm gonna go with mine, and then I'm gonna go with hers. So my one is I'm not so fussed about saying I love you all the time, because I don't want to overbear it and wear it out, so it doesn't feel like it's important
if it's
meaning
all the time. Yeah.
However, from her side of things, she's a great believer in 1 minute someone's there, the next minute they're not.
Oh.
So she believes that maybe one day, something drastic.
What if you died and she didn't say
and
that
she didn't
day?
get a chance to say it? But I hear it several times a day sometimes, and I don't think I need to hear it that often personally. But there's two sides to that. I get people who say it too often and too not. Would you say that you're someone who would say it a lot or not too often? I get the feeling you'd only say it as and when you felt it was right.
Yeah, so I feel like when I was married, going back to that, because obviously I don't say it at the minute, is that I used to say it when I felt like I wanted to say it, and I didn't want to express, I didn't want to lie. I wanted to say it when I felt like I want to say it. But then the trouble is, when you're in a relationship for so long, you eventually just get to a point where it's habits. So you're like, I'm going to the shop. Do you need anything? No, I'm good. All right, love you. And it just became a thing to say. Yeah. You just, of course, you'd say it, like sort of thing. And they might not even reply. All right, love you too. It's just a like, okay, love you. And then in case I die,
sometimes
I love you.
I say it. We say it to each other twice each before we go outside of the door.
Yeah, but then I don't like that. It becomes worthless.
If you don't feel the meaning of it.
Yeah, if I'm just saying it for the sake of saying it, then it's like, well, what the hell's the point? It's like when people send messages and they put like 8 kisses at the end. It's like this becomes pointless and waste of time because you're doing it every time.
This makes me chuckle as well, actually, because this is probably more of a childhood thing as well, but like sending kisses on messages I found was a good signal indication of how much affection you had for one another. Now, this is going to sound really ridiculous. When I got with my partner, we started off by sending one little kiss.
Oh no.
Then it became 2, then it became 3, then it became 4.
Yeah.
4 was the...
I feel like 4 is like
I stuck to 3, but she was there. She was interested. I could tell because there was 4 kisses on the end.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a good indication as well of like level of love, which I think is silly sometimes. But
see, me and my partner, we don't send kisses.
No,
ever. We send emojis.
I think sometimes sending an odd kiss on the end shows that there's no hard feelings as
well. Yeah, like we'll
send
like a kissy emoji to be like, whatever. And we only tend to do it in the morning. Oh, good morning, and kissy emoji. Yeah. That tends to be what it is, or like good night.
So fair. Yeah.
There's that, and again, that just becomes like I'm going to the shop, love you, bye. It feels the same to me now. It feels almost pointless, and I don't want it to be that. And I don't know if that seems disrespectful or not. If she wants to do it, that's fine. I don't care. That's absolutely fine. But I'm not the type. I'm too old for this, Ben.
Fair enough.
I get it. When I was growing up, yeah, people did that. It was fun. To be fair, when I was growing up, messaging was like new. So emotions.
How old are you? Shh. Okay.
So, yeah.
I think it's your turn. I think I've asked a few questions in a row now.
Okay.
So I think this is your last one, isn't it?
This is my last one.
Okay.
So this is an interesting one. Oh. So obviously, as a westernized society living in the UK here, we typically we're only allowed to marry one person at a time. We're typically only meant to love one person at a time. And what the question I have is, why do we typically only love one person? Is this just a social norm, or is this something else?
It's interesting. I don't. I've seen people who because let's just say, for example, ladies' magazines. That's Life. Chat example. Yeah. A lot of them will have front covers with like different situations, bad and good. But sometimes you'll see people who've got like 2 lovers, or all 3 live under the same household, and that is, to us, that's very unique because let's just say, for example, that would probably be a very small percentage of society who don't have a relationship that's partner and partner, regardless of gender, age, religion, so on and so forth. Personally, I think it's down to the people. I think I think you should be allowed to feel that way and love that way, if you're happy with it. And I think it is very difficult to express to your partner early on or in a right situation and time that's what you want, because some people know straight away that they do want more than one partner, and it's difficult just to turn around and go, I actually want to share you, or I want to share myself with other people. That can be seen the wrong way.
Open relationship. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm not just talking about just open relationship. I'm talking about love. Do you think you could ever love two people the same as you like as partners?
So are you saying, like, if I let's just say, for example, got married, broke up, and then got married again, or finding love like I found with that person?
No, I'm saying at the same time.
At the same time. It's a very difficult one. I mean, there's people out there who have long-term affairs where they have two relationships on the go at the same time. So it's a double-edged sword.
You went straight to affair there. Well, I was thinking more of let's say, for example, your partner turned out to be bisexual, yeah, and you both had a friend who was female that you suddenly both started talking about, and something kind of led to another, and suddenly it was almost like a three-way relationship. Could you see yourself loving if let's say your partner started saying like, oh my god, I love you, but I'm falling in love with this person as well, and you start feeling the same way about that person? Do you think that could?
I would absolutely love the honesty.
Yeah,
because I would rather understand.
You're
how
going red, felt. Ben. So I feel like this is not.
It's getting
work.
Hot in here. I'm just going to defend myself. The windows are shut. We've been in this room for a while now, over an hour. So it's getting hot. I think I'm okay with them being honest with it. I prefer it. I don't know about how I would feel about sharing my partner. Yeah. If it was that way around. Like, especially with another guy. I think the guy...
Well, this is why I said bisexual.
It's an interesting thing.
It's a woman.
Sharing another one is...
Because if it was a guy, then I
suppose I would feel
heterosexual,
almost like competition in a way.
Oh.
In that
so jealousy.
Yeah, I think I'm not generally a jealous person, but I think if I started having to share a relationship, which is something very intimate, like sharing a PlayStation game with one another or a console, is something very small, very simple. Once you get it back, it might have been scratched a little bit, but it's otherwise all in good condition. But if, let's just say, for example, I shared a girlfriend and she's got scratches down her back and stuff like that, then I'll be like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm cool with that.
That comparison, man, that's not my job.
That was really good. But I don't know if I would be cool with that. If I now got home and I found out them two had it away with each other, and I missed out, I'd be like, oh. And then if we now did, and they felt they were left out, and they go, oh, things are more adventurous when you're around. I don't know how I would like it. Like, okay. But so equally, if I now, let's just say, for example, I had two physical partners at home, I'd be. It just feels like you could team up on someone if you didn't. Let's just say, for example, you've had a bit of a falling out. Two could team up on one so easily. It's natural.
Wait, so let's just so I'm on this. Let's say, for example, before when we said sex or love, and you said love. What if it was two partners, no sex involved? They loved you, and you all loved each other. It's just love, no sexual here. How would you feel about that?
I don't know. It's something that I've not really thought about. I must admit, it's not something I've ever really gone down that avenue. But I don't know if I could spread myself that far in one relationship. Like, this is going to be a weird analogy, but just imagine you had some bread and butter, and you use the same amount of butter on one bit of bread. So
you spread yourself thin. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and then you spread yourself on two. You've got less love to give or less time to spread.
Okay. So
it's a very weird analogy, but
no, that works. I was thinking spread yourself too thin. So the reason why I asked that is because I wanted to know whether it was just a sexual jealousy or whether it was a love thing as well. So you think the sexual thing causes jealousy because one person might, you feel like, oh wait, you two had sex together last time without me, and they've just done it again. Like,
do you not want me here?
Yeah, do you not want me here? Something wrong. Yeah, so I understand that, and also the love thing is, you love your partner, having to love someone else is like, oh god, that's just Jesus.
No, I get that. It's a very interesting one. I mean, what would you do?
Sorry, before I answer that, Ben. So, obviously, there's other countries where I know a lot of this is a bit biased, but like a man can marry multiple wives, not just two, but many, and they consider that to be the norm. Like, it makes me wonder what their perception of that is. Like, how do they do it so everyone's fair and everything works out? And is there jealousy? That was the thing I was thinking of. So, because obviously, if we were brought up in that location,
we would see that as the norm, I suppose, wouldn't we? Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, but I think ultimately I'm quite happy with the culture that I've been brought up with and what I understand.
I think most people think that way.
But I'm not going to turn around and say that I disagree with what they do, but only if they're happy. Because I think that's the most important thing. If they want to do what they want, that's absolutely fine.
I agree. As long as no one's getting hurt and people are happy, I think it's fine.
I think the only thing I don't like is when people butt their noses in, especially if they don't know them, and they start going, what you're doing is wrong. So, it's up to me. It's my life. Yeah. We're both happy. If they weren't happy, they would have told me by now. We're not affecting anyone. We're not hurting anyone else. It's just us. So why are you involved?
Well, I think the world is going in the right direction when it comes to like PC, for example. I know we've gone a bit overboard with that, but at least most
the
people...
LGBTQ thing being probably one of the most recent examples.
Exactly. Well, plus.
LGBTQ.
I know there's a lot, so it's hard to keep up with. So I'll just do with the plus. So with that, for example, that's great. Yeah. Be whatever you want to be, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Personally, I don't care. And I feel like that's how the world should look at this. It's like, it doesn't affect me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why would that matter? And some people get so offended by it, and it's like, why? What is wrong with you? And so there you go. And that's why I kind of wanted to cover this topic a little bit, because I know that was a way to ease into it for multiple relationships. So personally, for me, the idea of it really depends on the emotional connection. Let's say I was not in a relationship and I happen to meet, so I'm a heterosexual man, I happen to meet two very lovely women, and they were like, let's all be in a three-way relationship. I'll be like, cool, let's give that a go. Yeah. And granted, I can't imagine it working because of the type of person I am. I know there's no emotional connection here, but again, jealousy, sexual jealousy, it will definitely become an issue, I think, for me. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know.
I suppose it depends on how well you all sync together as well.
Yeah, and again, like, oh, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm working. Oh, well, me and whoever were going to go out, and I was like, oh, well, that's annoying because they're probably going to have a really good time, and I feel jealous about that. So there is that. But I think it was something, it would be something that I wouldn't go looking for it, but if it happened to fall in front of me, I would try it. Yeah. So a couple of partners ago, I dated someone who had never been in a relationship with just two partners. She'd only ever been in an open relationship.
Okay.
So that was very interesting. And she said to me, when we were thinking about starting to date, she told me, and she said that she wanted to try it with an open relationship, and would I think about it? So I said I'd think about it, and I spent a little while thinking about it, and I was like, I don't think this is going to work for me.
So ultimately,
I said no, which is, now thinking back to it, I probably should have just said yes and see what happened. But that type of relationship was more of a, we see each other, but we're allowed to have sleep with whoever we want. But I wouldn't go look for someone else to sleep with, but she might. So that's the thing that got me.
Can I ask, was it a close distance or long distance one, relationship wise? So did they live nearby? Were they far away?
Oh, they lived like, I have to get a train, but it's like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not a huge thing. But it's not even about that. It's about, for example, I have used Tinder, and I know a lot of people who have used Tinder. And for Tinder, if you're a man, getting matches is hard. You don't get matches very often.
No.
Being a woman, you get matches all the time. And I think it's the same thing. If I went up to a random woman on the street, the same my age, single, and just said, do you want to have sex tonight? Chances are I'd probably get slapped. But if a woman went up to a man, good-looking woman went up to a man and said that, I feel like there's a good chance they'd be like, hell yeah, that's way easier.
I feel like you might be, I know you're not doing it on purpose. That is a slight exaggeration, because I don't think women are necessarily going to go up to people and go, let's have sex.
No,
however, I do get what you mean by a woman is more likely to easily chat up a man, but easily able to flirt a little bit and push to see where things go. Whereas with a man, he can be quite quickly sort of shown the boot. Or
that's not my point, though, Ben. Yeah, my point is that if a guy went up to a girl and asked for sex, the chances are she's going to say no. But if a girl went up to a guy and asked for sex, chances are he probably would say yes, because it's harder for a man to find someone to sleep with than it is for a woman, because most men want to just have, like, around 20s, they just want to sleep around. So it's easy, but a lot of women don't, or they respect themselves more to not just do that straight away.
Yeah.
So in that regard, in that relationship, I felt like, well, if I said yes to this, she'd probably sleep with a lot of people, and I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I know I wouldn't because I'm not the sort of person to go looking for it because my libido is actually really low, for especially for a man. So that made it. That's the thing that made it awkward. If suddenly she said, "Oh, okay, well, every single time I sleep with someone else, like you get to sleep with someone else too," then I'm probably like,
But then you're keeping score, which would be very awkward.
True.
Can you imagine if they were like, "Oh, I'm 5 ahead of you now"? You'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, that's when if it was fair, I feel like I'd be much more likely. But because of the fact that I knew that she wouldn't, should probably sleep with a lot of people because she knows what to do. She's been in open relationships before. I'd just be sitting in my bedroom being like, cool, that's
So people listening in, how would you feel if you had a partner who would be sort of saying, right, let's. So
it's jealousy. I think it was jealousy for me. It was that she was sleeping with more people than me. Not just more people, but what if they were better than me? Not necessarily
she found
sexually,
it easier
but
maybe to flirt
compatible.
and find people.
Yeah, and what if I saw that? That just seems hard.
Can you imagine if you walked in, like let's just say for example you lived together and you walked in on them having sex and go, well, this is my one per month that we agreed to or something like that, and you'd be like, what? I suppose I better leave the house.
Oh, or, I think what you said before when you said it's a very intimate act, I feel like that's the problem. If sex was just sex for me and it didn't matter, which
no kissing, no cuddling.
Well, I know a lot of people, one night stands and sex is just sex. Like they don't consider it to be like, again, like we said before, making love or expressing themselves in any way, then it would be a different ball game. But I think because sex to me is something way more intimate, then yeah.
Okay. Right. I'm going to go on to. I've got 2 more points left. I'm going to try and keep this next one quite quick because I think we've been going for a while. So, what are your favourite habits and your pet peeves? So, I've written down a list of ones. Maybe I can read them out to you, actually.
Okay.
You can tell me whether you would have that high or low on the list.
Okay.
Things that would really bug you, things that won't really bug you. I've got 6, I think, bad habits, nice and simple ones. There is tons more bad habits, things you won't even notice. I'm even going to point out some of the bad habits I do just for the fun of it, but we all have them. So the first one, something I'm very thankful my other half doesn't do, loud chewing or drinking, where they're just sort of...
No, never been an issue for me.
No? Would you say it bothered you, though, if you had a partner who every meal, every time you sat down for tea together... interrupting, you're watching a TV show, you can just hear him in the background.
Yeah, that would annoy me.
Or even talking while chewing.
I think if it disturbed what I was doing, then I'd be really annoyed. If we were watching something, I think what we'd do is if they chewed or whatever loudly, then I'd say, we're going to finish our meal, then we're going to watch it.
Fair enough.
And I think I would just work around it because it depends. Again, for me, it's more intentions. If they were doing it on purpose, then I'd be annoyed. But if
I'm doing this on purpose now. Next one, interrupting.
He held his hand up to my face.
So interrupting.
That
was on purpose.
Again, if it was for dramatic purpose.
So I did that for no reason at all. I just interrupted you.
I was just confused, Ben.
So just imagine though that you're like. So I can agree with this one. Interrupting, it's a little bit up on my list because sometimes I like to tell the story.
Yeah. And
my other half will interrupt. No offense to her, but she will just turn around and she'll take over the story, but she'll interrupt me halfway through because I've missed out a detail. I'm like, for me that is a bit of a pet peeve. Would you say that's high on your list? Interrupting?
Again, it depends. It's not something that's happened to me in a long time. So I think if it was something that I was trying to get out, like a point, and they were interrupting me because they thought my point was invalid, that's disrespect. So okay. I would just count that as disrespect rather than interrupting. It hasn't ever happened to me. I talk too much, I think. Fair, if they start talking over me, I'll start talking over them. I'll be like, it's not very nice, is it?
Fair. Okay. Next one, timekeeping. Ooh. So let's just say, for example, you were planning to meet up or go out together, and they take their time. It's a very simple example.
No, you know what annoys me? So a different example will be, I'm ready to go. They're basically getting ready. Yeah, I've got ready in 5 minutes because I'm a man. All I have to do is put clothes on and wash my face and brush my teeth. That's pretty much all I need to do. Yeah, so I do that.
We're on the same wavelength here. I know what you're going to say.
And then, well, what's happened is I'm laying in bed or whatever. They start getting ready. I haven't even put my clothes on yet. I've brushed my teeth, washed my face, whatever, but I'm just putting my clothes on. And they're looking at me like, come on, hurry up, get ready. And then finally I'm like, well, it's 10 minutes to go. So I put some clothes on and lay there. And then they look annoyed at me because I've got ready in 5 seconds and they're still not ready. And now I'm waiting for them. And I'm just like,
I was almost on
come
the
on.
same length there. It was more the fact of I'm pretty much ready. I've been ready for about half an hour. And then all of a sudden, like that, they're ready at the end.
Yeah.
And they look at me and go, come on, we've got to get going here.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting there ready this whole entire time, but they wait until they've physically got everything together to then turn around and go, right, why aren't you ready?
They've even
yet?
put their shoes on, and all you've got to do is put your shoes on.
But
and
they're ready
moan
to
at
snap
you.
you like, hang on, I've been ready for ages.
Yeah.
I just needed the cue. Give me the cue. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Or if they're ready, for example, for whatever reason, you need to use the loo or whatever, and they're ready, and they're waiting for you, and you've done all your stuff, and you come downstairs, and you're like, oh, have you packed lunch? I'm like, no. You're like, we're going for a picnic. What? Now I've got to go pack lunch. They just haven't thought about it. So that can be annoying. But again, I think that is an annoyance sometimes. If it happened all the time, I'd be really frustrated. But it doesn't happen.
That's absolutely fair. Next one, something I'm quite lucky I don't have to do, is snoring.
Oh, see, I don't snore, and I've never dated anyone. Oh no, no.
Oh, okay.
So
bringing up some memories now.
My ex-wife used to click every single time. So she'd go,
what, like a dolphin?
No. So she'd breathe in. She'd go.
So it's like a tongue getting stuck
like a
on the
tongue
roof of her
stuck.
mouth sort of thing.
And it was the most annoying thing because I don't like ticky clocks because I find them annoying when I'm trying to sleep because what happens is it's the only noise going on, so I'll just concentrate on it. Yeah, and I hate it.
Okay.
So that was really annoying because it should go, and then it goes quiet, and then I'm fine again. And it's like so infrequently that's so annoying. And occasionally I'll be waiting for it, and she won't do it. I'm like, oh, finally, I can almost work. Oh, and I used to fucking hate that. Sorry, excuse me for saying.
No,
but God, that annoyed me.
So that's high on your list.
That is high on my list. I struggle with sleep. I've struggled with sleep as long as I can remember, and anything that disturbs my sleep is very frustrating.
For everyone at home, for context for myself, I'm a very good sleeper. Drop of a hat.
Yeah, yes.
If you now say, like, I can now drink a can of energy drink, I could have a coffee, lay there, I'll fall asleep in 5 minutes. I have no issues at all falling asleep.
I hate
people normally hate me for that habit. It's one of my sort of lucky traits that I've got. However, for my partner, she's got some good experiences. She'd be screaming down the microphone right now about some of my habits. So I'm going to go through 2 of them, and they're seen as quite annoying or quite scary for both. First one, I sleep partially with my eyes open.
I've heard about this.
So
it's scary.
This is a weird one. So when I was about 13, 15, when I used to fall asleep on the couch, I would fight it with every inch of my might, but I'd be falling asleep. And eventually my eyes would still be open. Now, they're not fully open, but it's enough to see the pupils just staring at you when you walk in a room. It's a little creepy.
For those of you who don't know Ben, he's already creepy looking. So.
Exactly. So just imagine me staring at you as you walk in a room. I mean, I once fell asleep holding a gaming controller with my cousins around, and they got really upset because I wouldn't share the controller, not knowing that I'm actually not awake. And then my aunt would come in and go, ooh, that's really weird. That's creepy. So my other half has to put up with this sometimes because I do fall asleep. However, on top of that, one of my other annoying habits is I flinch as I fall asleep.
Oh, God.
So me and my other half will be on the bed, we'll be falling asleep. And I'll go back to one thing that happened once. I flinched so badly, I elbowed her in the top of the head really badly. I mean, she was almost falling asleep as well, but I'd just beaten her to it. But I flinched so hard, I woke myself up and I proper crunched her on the head. And I've done it twice. Luckily, that was in the initial stages. And since then, I never sleep with my elbow above her head. That's like a written rule, an unwritten rule that we...
This is one of her pet peeves now, Ben. I guarantee
cannot do that, yeah. But like even now, when I fall asleep on her, I'll have my arm laying on it. And if I start to flinch, she'll go, right, turn over. Because she knows that I will flinch till I fall asleep. Because it's really weird. It's like I don't like putting my weight on her when I fall asleep. I can't help myself. Yeah. But that's one of my really bad habits now. For people at home, bad habit that I have. And the last habit that I've got written down, nice easy one, burping and farting. So excretion of bodily noises.
No, it doesn't bother me. I think farting is quite a common thing. I mean, I do it a lot.
I think it's hilarious.
I think it's funny as hell. But burping, if someone burps in my face on purpose, I hate that. And someone farts in my face on purpose, I hate that. But if someone burps at me, that's frustrating. I don't like that.
So I don't really care, to be honest with you, when it comes to burping.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered. But
I don't like it if I get told off when other people do that. So, for example, if I now but people don't really mind.
No.
If I fart and people mind, but they fart to me, then I'd get annoyed.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't care how you do it, as long as if I can do it. It's like a give and take sort of thing.
Yeah, I fart all the time, and I feel like I find it hilarious. And I get it, if it smells really bad, then people might get frustrated and they'll be like, can you leave the room if you need to or whatever. That's fine, but holding them in is the worst, so I hate that. Okay. And I've done it before, and it's just like, oh, someone got
I actually sometimes leave the room and go to the door and fart. Yeah. And then my other half will go, just stay over there for a minute. Because I will try and walk back to you. No, you're dragging it with you. Yeah. Like, sorry.
Well, I know a few people who be like, well, if you need to fart, go to the toilet. But the trouble is, I need to fart all the time. So I'd be back and forth all the time.
Oh, I have to get up all the time.
Yeah, it'd be so frustrating.
Okay, let's go on to some good habits. So I'm just going to read these.
Wait. I want to tell you one of my bad habits that I know about.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the thing. My partner's told me this. She said, sometimes I seem emotionless. And I think it's more of because I'd consider myself quite an emotional guy. I've always been quite an emotional guy. But I think nowadays, I just don't have time for the drama. I don't want to have to deal with it. So I think if a lot of things come up that are just drama for the sake of drama,
you just go, all right.
I'll be like, yeah, cool. Like, I don't care. And if I don't care, I'm not going to show any emotion towards it because it almost encourages it, I find. And especially, I think in an early relationship, it's good to get into good habits, because if you start introducing bad habits or whatever, then it just becomes, saying, oh, I've got to deal with this all the time because it's bad. So yeah, if it's nothing to do with anything that I need to care about, I'm just gonna oh, this happened at work today, well, that's not doesn't affect me. Like, oh, that sucks for you, but Jesus.
Okay.
And I think she sometimes she's a bit like, oh, well, that didn't go anywhere. Like, well, it doesn't need to, does it?
Fair. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I can be like that sometimes. I think all people can if they want to.
Yeah. It's like, I ain't got the energy for that. I'm sorry. My energy's going elsewhere. This makes me seem well miserable. Jesus. I swear I'm not. I like happy things. I try and be happy a lot.
Well, let's move on to happy things then.
Hey.
So, some of my favourite habits are good manners. Yes. So, please and thank yous. Asking for things and asking for permission before doing it, not just assuming you have permission.
Yeah. What is it? Ask for forgiveness, not permission, is it?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Smiling. It's a simple habit, but it's something people often take for granted. Something simple as a smile.
That's true.
Organisation. So again, time management, but the good side of things, where people are like, okay, I've planned for this mistake to happen, so we are on time.
Yeah, what is it? Like, prepare for the best, plan for the worst, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's useful.
Being grateful. So again, that comes under sort of good manners as well. But so let's just say, for example, someone bought you something. You don't want it, you didn't need it, but you're grateful for it. So you're like, thank you. And you don't sit there and go, oh, I'm never going to use that. So just being grateful for the things you have, the things you receive in a relationship as well.
I think there's two ways for that one though, Ben, because let's say, for example, your partner bought you, early relationship again, your partner bought you a gift. I would be thankful for it, but then I would politely explain that it's not something that I'm into, but I really like that they've got me it. Because if they then go, oh, well, they loved that, I'm going to buy him that every year for his birthday.
True.
Then true. Imagine 5 years later, you're going, right, I'm going to have to tell her. And then you finally tell her that, you don't actually like it. That's 5 years.
I get that. I suppose it depends on the context.
So it depends on the context. Yeah.
Cool. And the last one, being thoughtful.
Yeah, that's cool.
So nice little simple one there.
I think these are almost not even relationship traits. These are just traits that everyone should have normally, right?
Habits.
All habits.
Yeah, very true. Okay, I think that is enough of going into some very deep and dark conversations, some very interesting opinions. I actually really enjoyed going through that with Jamie today. So what we're going to do is we're going to end it now with a little bit of light-hearted fun. We've created a little game for one another. We want you to sort of participate at home while you're listening to this. We're going to play a game of Snog, Marry, Avoid. I'm sure you've all heard of this before. What we're going to do is we're going to name 3 celebrities. If this is on YouTube, I will put some photos up for people. If it's on any other platform, I'm sure you can look online if you need to see these celebrities. Obviously, one you have to snog, one you marry, and one you avoid.
So I actually did a bit of research on this, and it is also known as fuck, marry, or kill. So it's generally the same thing. It's generally someone who you'd want to, snog, fuck, whatever. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Be physical with. One you'd want to marry, and one you wouldn't ever want to see again or kill. It's the same.
I'm happy
concept.
It changed snog to sex, but I don't think I'd have kill. Kill's a bit extreme.
Well, I feel like there has to be something extreme, right? Avoid anyway.
Avoid, and never speak to
I
again.
just want to kill someone, man.
I think you do. I think you do. So we've got a few each. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. Mine's prepared, Ben. Mine's prepared.
So Jamie has got me a little slideshow because I'm using pen and paper for all of these. So I'm going to sit next to this. I'm going to comment on them. He's going to read them out to me. So I'll let him go first. Here we go.
So if you're watching the YouTube video, obviously we will put these people up and I will read the names of everyone anyway. So basically the reason why I've done a visual presentation here is because I'm really bad with names. So celebrities especially, for some reason I've heard that name, but I just can't put the face to it. And then obviously as soon as I see the picture, I'm like, oh, of course them. So first one, Ben, is Snog, Marry, Avoid. We're going through the Avengers route here.
Oh my god, you've got the same wavelength as me, because I've actually done one of these, but I do have one different celebrity. So for everyone who's not listening,
we are starting with the very seductive Scarlett Johansson. Again, the equally seductive Elizabeth Olsen. And the very time-travel-y seduction of Karen Gillan.
Oh my god.
Again, so Scarlett Johansson is obviously Black Widow. Elizabeth Olsen is obviously the Scarlet Witch. And Karen Gillan is Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula.
But also a companion in Doctor Who. And since we are British, we've all seen
So I've not watched her in Doctor Who, but I saw her in... Well, she was a horror film. I think it was called Oculus. And in Jumanji.
Oh, in Jumanji, of course, yes.
Jumanji.
She was very attractive in Jumanji, but obviously not so much as Nebula. That's the concern.
But then you've got Elizabeth Olsen, who is related to the Olsen twins, going back to the late 90s, I think.
I didn't even
And she's younger than them, I believe, as well. Although, you know.
So I tried to choose people judging on a category. So in this case, it's obviously Avengers.
Fair enough.
And then everyone else... after that is more like they're all within the same age group, because I thought it would be unfair to be like, well, here's someone in the 20s and there's someone in the 60s. It would be
fair enough.
But I've chosen some very nice pictures.
Yes, you have actually. Yeah.
Just wait, mate.
I think personally, I think the one with the best sense of humour, the one I'd probably spend my life with, would be Scarlett Johansson. I think she's got a great sense of humour, good laugh, and beautiful as well.
Yeah.
But I do have a very soft spot for Karen. Is it Gillian or Gillan?
I don't know. Gillian, I think. But Gillan or...
But, I think she's absolutely gorgeous.
I think she's gorgeous. And she's a redhead as well. So that...
Yes, and I do say that I have a spot for red.
I have a spot for redheads.
I do like Elizabeth Olsen, but I just don't think... if I had to choose between the three, she would be the one that falls out.
You're going to kill her then?
I'm not going to kill her. I never agreed to
avoid.
kill anyone. But yeah, Snog, Marry, Avoid. Yeah.
So you would marry Scarlett
Johansson.
Snog.
One night stand with Karen.
And brutally murder Elizabeth. Okay, got that.
Okay.
That's nice. I think I actually would agree with that then.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, nice.
Sweet.
So let's go to number 2. So sticking with the Avengers. Look at that picture. Look at that picture of Chris Hemsworth.
Oh my god! I have done this. I have done the same tree. I know. I can see it poking out of his pants. For everyone at home, Chris Hemsworth has a slight. I don't even know. That is an erection. Please tell me that's not what it looks like flaccid.
No, that's from a movie. It's another movie he's in where he plays the guy with a massive penis. So.
I have picked the same 3 Chris's in one of mine, so I don't have to do this one now.
So obviously, Snog, Marry, Avoid. It's Avengers thing. Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Chris Pratt.
I already know the answer to this one. So I jokingly said this with Meg. So I feel really sorry for one of the Chris's here. Snog, Marry, Avoid. I said Snog Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
I would agree with that.
Because, I mean, everyone loves a bit of a beefcake, I suppose. And I
that-
reckon he'd
that-
be a
that
good one
boy.
night stand. I don't know who would be the giver and the receiver, but I mean,
Jesus Christ.
one night stand. Marry would be Chris Pratt.
Ooh,
Because I think I would go with someone with a sense of humour. And I think me and him would connect very well.
Yeah.
I've heard. I believe Chris Evans, sadly, would not be as great of the 3, and I think he'd be a bit boring.
I think he actually has a bit of depression. Not loads, but I've heard.
I don't think that the
not...
depression would affect my choice, but I do think that of the 3 that I'd go for, I think he wouldn't make the cut.
Okay, that's interesting. Because thinking it from that perspective, I think I would still avoid Pratt. but I would probably just snog Evans and marry Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
Because Hemsworth, like in real life, he's actually a really
he
nice
does
guy.
seem like quite a funny guy.
And he's Australian, man. You like that accent?
I do like Australians. Yeah, no,
There you go.
actually very right there.
That was good. That was easy.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the best. Group number 3. Bam.
So who we got here?
So we have Margot Robbie. We have Blake Lively.
Okay.
So basically, Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. Blake Lively is actually Ryan Reynolds' wife.
What has she been in?
She's been in Gossip Girls and Age of Adeline.
I've never seen either of those.
Oh, Age of Adeline's
but
great.
I do know she has a sense of humour because I've seen her tweets with Ryan Reynolds, and she is funny.
I think she's very attractive as well. And also Amber Heard, who is Mira in Aquaman.
So this is a controversial one, really. So to go to Amber Heard, because you've got this whole ruckus at the moment. Are you supporting Amber Heard or Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
It's a very big thing. And there's two sides to every story. But I had this conversation with my other half, and she's on Johnny Depp. No end.
Okay.
There is no question about that. I mean, if I say anything about Amber Heard, I swear she's coming after me with an axe. So I have to be careful what I say. But I think, because I don't know Blake Lively all that well through the text, I would say snog Amber Heard, marry Margot Robbie, Aussie accent. I think it's Aussie, isn't it? Yeah,
that's something like that. Yeah.
It'd be a shame to ignore Blake Lively, but I don't really know. I don't know much about her. I've never really seen her. I've got the photo here, but that's all I've got to go on.
Yeah.
So, but I do find Amber Heard quite attractive. So I suppose a snog would be there for on.
That's true. Yeah. So I feel like I would probably snog Margot Robbie and probably marry Blake Lively, because I feel as if Blake Lively would be actually she seems more down to earth than everyone else.
Fair enough.
Amber Heard, I find attractive, but there's a lot of stuff going on with her.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on there. Hopefully, the snog wouldn't happen during this whole situation.
Johnny Depp's right there. You're right in the courtroom.
Yeah, just excuse me, guys. Just
one sec. 2 seconds. Sorry, it's part of my quiz. Right, so group 4 is.
Okay,
I've gone for muscles here.
Gone for muscles.
So we have Snog, Marry, Avoid. We have Henry Cavill, who obviously plays Superman and The Witcher. We have Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who obviously, The Rock, and he's in Jumanji and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
And we have Jason Momoa, who plays Aquaman.
My man. It's an interesting one. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Henry Cavill is a.
Is it Cavill or Cavill?
I'm going to say Cavill.
I feel like it's Cavill.
But I'm going to change it halfway through and probably call him Cavill anyway. But he's a bit of a nerd.
He is a nerd.
He is
really
a very
like that.
big
He plays
nerd.
World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
And
Man, my own heart.
I mean, I've seen many memes. I've seen many things to do with him, and he's obviously clearly interested in a lot of things. Like he wanted to be in The Witcher.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I think like out of the three, immediately marry because
I would agree with that.
He's there.
Not only attractive. The only thing I don't like about him, and this is my thing, is that I have a thing about teeth, and his teeth aren't bad, and I think he has had them corrected, but he has some like really quite wonky bottom teeth, and this is just purely me. And I've spoken to people about this before, and they're like, "Has he?" And I've just got a bit of a thing about teeth.
I suppose if you notice it and it annoys you, then
I think he has had them fixed actually, or at least straightened to an extent, because I saw some pictures of it and I was like, oh, maybe he's okay now. But I don't know why that always gets me.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I agree, Mary.
I think this is just more for fun. I think I'd snog Jason Momoa. So I think it's more. I might as well just see what it's like to snog someone who's got such a prickly face. Because my other half complains that if I grow any facial hair, it itches and stuff. And I don't think Dwayne Johnson would do it for me.
No.
Jason Momoa has, I think Dwayne Johnson would be a great guy. I mean, if I didn't marry Henry Cavill, it would be probably Dwayne. But I don't think I'd marry Jason Momoa. But I think he'd be a good snog.
Oh, okay.
Not being judgmental there.
So I think I would obviously marry Henry Cavill, just because I feel like, everything that you've said basically. But I would probably snog Dwayne Johnson, because I feel like he's such a big bloke that I've never been like cuddled to the point where, when like you cuddle a woman and you're almost wrapping yourself around them sort of thing. I've never had that before, and I kind of want to feel what it was like. But I imagine he's probably rock solid, so that would probably not be very comfortable. But I just want to feel. And judging by all the stuff I've seen, he's actually quite a nice guy, and
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
I think all
afterwards
three
I
of
could be
them are
like,
really decent guys.
"You're welcome."
Oh
then,
dear, oh dear.
avoid Jason Momoa. Sorry, Jason.
Okay.
Okay, so the last one, Ben. You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
So we have, bam. So these.
Again, you've done a sort of a similar one. You've got one similar one of them. Anyway.
So these are women that I had a crush on when I was growing up. So
okay.
these are all near the same age. I think these are born in the 60s and 70s. So late 60s, early 70s, or mid 70s. So we have Snog, Marry, Avoid. We have Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
And I remember her because she was very controversial when I was in high school about people because of her lips.
Yeah,
if they fancied her,
she does have
she
full lips.
She has very full lips, and I remember that being a thing. Jennifer Aniston, obviously Rachel from Friends, and we have Rachel Weisz, who is in The Favourite and Black Widow, and she's also in Constance. I was getting there. Constantine.
Sorry.
I was actually thinking about putting Brendan Fraser on there at some point, but I just didn't get around to it. Back from George of the Jungle days.
Yeah. Okay. It's actually interesting. I do think Rachel Weisz,
whatever.
Is I do think she's actually very pretty. The picture you picked.
I found some good pictures. Yeah. I think she's very attractive. I've always found her like she's never played characters who are like super duper attractive. They've always seemed more normal. If that makes sense. Like for example, in The Mummy, she's played as this person who's really smart but can't seem to like walk properly because you'll fall over. Yeah. You know what I mean, that kind of thing. But I feel as if in real life she's actually a very attractive woman.
It's a tough one. It'd be hard which one I would avoid. I think that's the problem. Like I think Angelina Jolie is pretty. I think she's very pretty. I think she would be probably the Snog.
Okay, yeah. With those lips, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I suppose. Or a one-night stand, either way.
Okay.
As for Mary, I think I'd be leaning towards Jennifer Aniston.
Really?
I think she's got the whole package, I think. So that's just more of a personal thing, I think.
No, I feel like that's a pretty good trait. My only thing I have with Jennifer Aniston is in Friends. I don't know. She always. I can't. I know she's not like that in real life, but she seems a bit stupid, and that really annoys me.
I like the fact that if you look at her, she hasn't aged a bit though.
Yeah,
I do like the fact that she's kept her.
But then Angelina Jolie hasn't aged.
Very true. I think
she's in Eternals, isn't she? And she looks great.
Yeah, that is very true. No,
so I would probably marry her. I think Rachel Weisz I think she's aged a little bit.
I do think she's pretty.
Yeah.
I do think she's beautiful, but I think compared to the two, given the choice, I think she would just fall.
I think I would marry Angelina Jolie and snog Jennifer Aniston because then I could say that I've snogged Jennifer Aniston.
Okay. No, fair enough.
Yeah, and I snogged Rachel from Friends. Hey,
add that to your belt.
That's on my CV, but. Right, so that's the end of Jamie's Snog, Marry, Avoid.
Okay, I've got a few here, but we've already touched on one or two in a way.
Hopefully I know these people.
So I'm going to reel it back. I'm going to go... So one of the ones you did was a sort of your childhood loves. I didn't do a childhood loves, but I did a sort of older generation. So actresses...
That's how I started this, but then eventually I found these and I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Okay, so one of them was Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
The other one was Liv Tyler.
Which one's that one?
So Liv Tyler, she was in Apollo 13. She's in a 911 TV show that's out at the moment. For anyone who can't see what's going on, basically Jamie's now getting out his phone just to have a look at.
I'm so bad with names. I do apologise. Oh, yeah, okay.
So she's quite a pretty girl, I believe.
Yeah.
And the last one, but not least, Kate Beckinsale.
Okay, yeah.
You know from Underworld.
Yeah,
probably.
I know Kate Beckinsale.
One of the main things she's been in. So personally, I think Kate Beckinsale, absolutely gorgeous.
Back in the day, especially. God,
in that lycra.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, apologies.
True. Oh God, that's so annoying. So I probably would still marry Angelina Jolie, and then Kate Beckinsale would be my snog. Okay. Especially if she's in her Underworld.
Okay. Okay. Let's go on to number 2.
Number 2.
Megan Fox.
Okay.
Mila Kunis. the voice of Meg in Family Guy. I think she's been in Couples Retreat. She's been in a few things.
Yeah.
She's been in quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's been in a few things.
And finally, Emma Stone.
Okay.
So, Amazing Spider-Man.
Cruella.
Cruella is probably one of the most recent ones. I think she's one of the most recent talents that's come out. Who I think absolutely gorgeous.
I think she's gorgeous, but I don't know. She was Easy A, right? She was the one from
Easy A. I've not watched that one, but I know what one you're on about. Yeah.
I think she's fun, but I don't find myself that attracted to her, to be honest.
Okay.
I think she's very unique, and I wouldn't say no, but I don't think she'd be one that I would choose, I think. But then, what's her name? Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis, yeah.
I think she's quite pretty attractive.
So, which one would you marry?
What was the first one?
Megan Fox.
Oh, I'm not a huge fan of Megan Fox.
Yeah, she's a Marmite sort of person.
Yeah, I think she's okay, and I think the trouble is with her, I think she's attractive, but I think she knows she's attractive, and that's a turn off for me. If someone's really knows it, it's kind of like.
I think of the three, I would avoid Megan Fox.
Yeah, that's the trouble.
I think I would probably marry Mila Kunis, but I think either way, I think I'd be happy with either of the two.
Yeah, I think, again, I would. Mila Kunis is the one I have least rejection with here, so I'd definitely marry her.
Fair enough.
So it's Megan Fox, or what was the other one, sorry?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Yeah, it's not Emma Stone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not Emma Stone.
Let's move on to number
Definitely
3.
Snog worthy, go on.
Okay. So we have Natalie Portman.
Okay.
So, Star Wars, obviously. Keira Knightley.
Okay, yeah.
So I think there's sort of a theme with those two, very similar.
Those two are almost the same person, aren't they?
Yeah, they're sort of very known for one another. And one I sort of put in the same category, Anne Hathaway.
Okay. Oh, the thing is with Keira Knightley is she's in Love Actually, isn't she?
I believe so, yeah.
And I think that's before she got her lip done, and her lip was very thin.
And
I don't know why. That always I'm being really picky.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I would snog Keira Knightley.
Okay.
And I don't know.
So I struggled with this one because I'm probably going to get attacked soon, but I'm not a massive fan of Star Wars.
Okay.
Compared to a lot of people, I'm not hooked on it. I only watched it for the very first time this year.
Just to let people know, I do not share Ben's opinion on Star Wars, so please don't attack me.
So for Natalie Portman, I wasn't really too fussed. Whereas I quite like Anne Hathaway. I think I would marry her.
Okay.
Out of the three, I would marry Anne Hathaway. And then I think maybe I'd snag Natalie Portman over Keira Knightley because I don't feel that connection with Keira as much.
See, the thing is with Anne Hathaway is she's a great actress. She's been in loads of stuff like Les Mis and Interstellar, and she's brilliant in those. But I don't find her very attractive.
Fair enough. I do think she's got a nice smile, though.
She does.
She has a
lovely
nice
smile. There you go, Ben.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just show a better picture. She's got a lovely smile, and I think she's quite cute. But I just don't think she's that attractive. She looks pretty good in that picture.
Yeah.
But then any Photoshop picture can make anyone look pretty good.
So which one would you marry?
Oh, Ben.
Natalie Portman or Keira Knightley?
That's really horrible. I don't want either of them, really.
You don't want either of them? Oh, okay. Now we're going to skip past this one. We're going to skip past this one after he says that. He wouldn't have either. Fine, you can't have none of them.
I've avoided everybody in this.
Screw it. I'm going to skip past my next one. I'm actually going to skip past a couple because I did Scarlett Johansson, Elizabeth Olsen, but I also did Brie Larson.
Okay, so I was thinking about putting Brie Larson in it, but Brie Larson is quite controversial or something.
Yeah, again, there's a few of the Marvel Universe who don't like her either, so I'm going to skip past that. Number 6, I had Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, which we've already done, so I'm going to skip past that as well. But I'm going to do 3 guys for you now.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, very attractive.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, that's annoying.
And Ryan Gosling.
Wow.
So I've gone for three hunks for you there. I think for sense of humour wise, for me, I love Ryan Reynolds. I've seen so much recently where I think he's a funny guy. So I think for me personally, I'd marry him straight away.
Yeah, I think I would definitely avoid Ryan Gosling. Just out of Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, I feel like.
I've put too much stiff competition out there, have I?
Yeah, I'd probably marry Ryan Reynolds because I think he'd make my life so fun.
He would be an
He'd be
unpredictable riot.
Yeah, I reckon he's a great laugh, and I reckon like no matter what happens, I'd come home every day and he'd fucking like
He'd pick up the vibe.
he would have made a fort out of cushions. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? But I would love it.
Okay.
I'm like, yes, go.
Okay. So we got our answers very quickly for that one, which is quite nice. The next one is for fun.
Oh, no.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus,
Okay.
Cardi B, Nicki Minaj.
Why, Ben? Why you got to do this to me?
Come on, it's not. I can't make everything easy.
No, you didn't. You haven't made any of this easy.
What are you talking about? They haven't been that bad.
I feel like I wouldn't want it. Can I say no to all of them again? Do I have to?
No, actually, no. I'm going to push for this one.
No.
So they're all interesting characters. They've all got a lot. I would say they've got a lot of personality. They can be interesting because they're in the limelight a lot.
I feel like I'd be rich no matter what I do. So that's always helpful.
So I think personally for me,
but they've been altered so much that they're just.
You don't know how much of them is real in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one would you avoid the most?
What was the first one?
So Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, probably Miley Cyrus. I think she's crazy.
Cardi B, Nicki Minaj.
Isn't she crazy?
Yeah. Oh no, they've all got crazy aspects in all of them.
But isn't she like really crazy?
Like I think personally, the one I think is probably the wildest would be Cardi B.
Oh God.
But Snog.
All right, I'll snog Miley Cyrus. Okay.
Snog Miley Cyrus.
And avoid Cardi B if she's crazy.
Okay.
Who's the other one? Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So which one would you marry?
I'll marry her.
You make it sound so terrible.
Hasn't she got that like nappy bum thing? No, wait, didn't
she does have a big
bum cheeks explode on stage or something?
Did she?
Yeah,
I don't know
saw something about that.
She does have a big butt.
But, but it's not real, isn't it?
I think so. Personally, I think if I had to choose one to marry, I think I would go with Miley Cyrus because I think I could make a difference in there, and I think she would.
I could make a difference.
I think she'd be good fun. I think
she did. Nicki Minaj, her butt exploded on stage. There was a thing about it. One of her implants in her butt exploded on stage.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So the last one. I'm going with musicians, female musicians. So we have. I had 4 that I wanted to choose between. I'll go with 3. I'll tell you who the 4th one is after.
Okay.
So we had Britney Spears.
Okay.
Christina Aguilera. Or Pink.
Oh. Oh, God. Christina Aguilera, though. I don't find her attractive at all. But I don't really find Pink very attractive at all. I think she's okay looking.
Okay.
God, I try and Google Pink. Okay, so I probably... wait, who's the first one?
Britney Spears.
So I probably... Oh, wait, Britney Spears is crazy, isn't she? She is, I know this.
She's
there was that
papers.
whole court case thing.
She's in the papers at the moment because she's trying to get out of the contract she has with her dad.
She got out of it, I think.
I think it's still going through.
Oh, okay.
I think her dad is now agreeing to give up the little case because I think she now wants to get married. But she was in her contract before she was not allowed to get married to who she wanted to.
Oh.
And that was a lot of issues. But so yeah, a lot of people class her as crazy, but I think she had a meltdown just because of everything that was going on.
Okay. So since she's getting married now, then she's probably relatively okay now. So I'd probably marry her. Yeah, I'd marry her. And then I'd probably snog Pink. Because I just don't find Christina Aguilera very attractive.
To be honest with you, I don't think any of them ring my bell as much as some of the other celebrities we have mentioned. One of the other options I was going to mention is Jessie J, but Jessie J is a little more modern in comparison to the 3. Yeah. But I struggled with this one, to be fair. And I don't think I really had
You want to make me suffer, Ben. That's what it is.
Well, I want to have some fun. Yeah, I don't actually know. I think I would probably marry Christina Aguilera. I feel like she's got I think Pink probably has her head a little more screwed on, possibly. But I think I'd have more fun with Christina Aguilera. And I think I would be happy to snog either Pink or Britney.
Well, I just remember Britney, in my childhood, she was very attractive, and she was in Lycra as well.
It didn't work for me as much. Even Oops, I Did It Again. Yeah. No, it just did not work for me. There's nothing to do with fetishes on leather and latex and all that. It was just did not.
I'm glad you specified, Ben. Just
for me on that one. Okay, so
Interesting.
I
Okay.
think that is it for today.
So that's interesting. So we do have different sexual preferences when it comes to stuff like that. And what I'm worried about is that both of us, when it came to the men, we just knew what we knew.
I suppose we're both quite happy to say that we are straight.
Yeah.
I believe, but we are happy with our
He
sexuality.
gave you such a weird look.
We're happy with our sexuality enough to at least know that if, let's just say, for example, we did go that way, we already know kind of what we feel, and we're quite open about it.
Yeah,
I don't
agreed.
I don't have any discomforts with sexuality, and I think it's the
I
same
don't
thing,
care.
Jamie.
I literally don't care.
For everyone that's been watching at home, feel free to comment whether you think we're right or wrong, or throw us a curveball, throw us 3 more celebrities. Maybe we could do this again. You guys could mention what you guys like, what you guys think would be a challenging trio. Maybe not Marvel. Maybe you could pick up the DC universe. Maybe you could pick up 3 musicians, 3 actors, 3 actresses, maybe 3 non-binary people for an interesting challenge on us. Feel free to choose whatever you think would be good fun for us. I just want to thank Jamie for putting up with me for what has been a very long time today.
Ben, I'm suffering. How dare you? Well, how long has it been? 2.5 hours.
Yes. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening today, and I hope you've enjoyed our talk, our podcast.
We are experimenting with a few different ideas at the minute. Well, God, how are we saying this? We had a meeting recently to discuss different ideas that we want to try, and podcasts were definitely high on that list, so we thought we'd give it a go. And actually, I've really enjoyed this. It's been quite fun. Yeah. So if you guys have enjoyed this as well, make sure you like this or heart it or whatever the platform that you're on provides, so we know that you're enjoying it, so we can do more. And again, we are going to try lots of different ideas over the next, I guess, couple of months, just to see what we enjoy and what we works by. But judging by Ben's face right now with this smug little smile, I think he's really enjoyed himself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We will see you in the next podcast, I suppose.
Ciao.
Ciao. Bye.